Oh, it worked! The button worked! Oh, my camera's off, though. Get my sparkling water out of there. What's up, guys? I was so excited. I'm down here updating everything. I didn't know, like, my computer needed updating, my Steam Deck needed updating, my freaking OBS needed updating. Everything needs updating. Updating. And then just to tell you guys, because you guys should know this. I'm sitting here, and what I like to do when I'm sitting here and I'm updating and I'm editing stuff is I have a couple TVs over here that I like to watch football. And I like to throw my leg up on the desk here and watch my stuff. And what oftentimes happens, guys, is my leg goes to sleep. And I got up to go get my coffee. And I'm not going to lie, I almost died, all right? I went to take a step, and my leg was asleep, and I damn near tore my ACL, broke my hip, and got a concussion. It was pretty close. My leg bent all fucking weird. I was like, oh! And I tried to take another step because it was like a panic step. I was like, oh, okay, one more. I was almost a goner. I was almost Dunsky. It was close. This stream almost didn't happen. But I did get my coffee. And boy, do we need it. Because what the hell is going on? What is this country? I'll take things that are burning down in spectacular fashion. What is this country? All right, let's see who's here. And let's get to it. You know, when I started doing this, I was like, what am I going to make videos about all the time and stuff? I was like, I'll probably make like a video every once in a while. And now I'm literally editing so many damn videos every day that it's like my third and fourth job. But yeah, so there's something to talk about every single day. I'm almost like I need to like stream more, but I don't have time for that. Yeah, anyways, let's say hi to everybody. All right, Woke Mike back at number 1. Came to reclaim his championship. Number 1. Good job, Woke Mike. He Hurts, what's up? Progressively Independent, what's happening? Roxanne, what's happening? Mitchell Carey, what's going on? I think I fixed the Discord link too. So if you guys click the Discord link from Nightbot, I think it works now. I could be wrong. Mitchell Carey, be nice to Nightbot. It's my only employee. Okay, and end up in HR.
Who explains sexual harassment to you and me? Sexual harassment, panda.
And we'll send you to HR, Mitchell. Silent Siren, what's going on? Mike, what's going on? Mike, it says you weren't a subscriber for a second, huh? That does not at all surprise me, because I go on places all the time, and I'm always like, I swear to God, I'm subscribed to this guy, and it's got me not subscribed. I'm pretty sure YouTube doesn't like me subscribing to people. Etch, what's happening, Etch? Kevin, what's up, Troll Slayer? He with the blue wrench. How's everybody doing this Saturday? Are they going to start World War III on Wednesday? What else could be happening when you bring 800 top officers together? That's a very good question, Mike. And one that we will get into when we talk about Portland and other things, as obviously this is one of the strangest times. It is the strangest times. But yeah, Hegseth calling together all those military leaders, really, really weird. And yeah, we're going to get into that. Let's see. 5 Alarm Fire, what's happening, 5 Alarm? Redonk! Redonk, you are here today. Only the angriest of gingers will do. Indeed, sir, indeed. I got pretty angry when I was yelling about the measles Thursday. When I was yelling about the measles, I was pretty upset. Because I don't want measles, guys. I don't fucking want measles. I don't know, like, I just almost, like, broke my hip and tore my ACL just walking. The last thing I need in my life is measles. I'm not good with sickness. Everybody around me has COVID right now, and it's gnarly. I don't like it. This week, Bannon, Musk, and the Hardy Boys investigate the Epstein files. You know, when I read that, I was like, no, they're in the Epstein files. And then I thought about it, and I was like, with this administration, actually, the people investigating the Epstein files would probably be the people in them, so that way they could then say that the Epstein files were a hoax. That makes sense. Petrazi coming all the way from Kentucky. What's happening, Petrazi? How's it going? Let's see. Dr. Don all the way from Mexico. Dr. Don, I'm coming. It's either Canada or Mexico. I'm just not sure which one at this point. Oz, what's happening? Oz. AJ, what's going on? AJ. Brett Rose, good to see you, Brett. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I did. I am a Billy Goat grump. I am so grumpy when I get sick. Southern Missouri, Brett. Okay, all right. Is that anywhere near Springfield? The book I'm writing, 110 pages, first act done, takes place in Springfield, Missouri. And ever since then, it's one of those, like, you see the thing, you buy the blue car, you see the blue cars. I see Springfield, Missouri all the time now. Let's see, who else? I bet you can taste the freedom, Brett. Jonah, what's happening, Jonah? Good to see you. Alan, what's up, Alan? Vonda, Dark Cash, Bannon investigating himself. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Mighty Mouse, all the way from Denmark. You know what I love about YouTube? For the 15 minutes that I will be here, longer before Trump comes from my channel. The thing I love about YouTube is getting to, like, talk to all of you guys from around the world and around the country. A trailer park ginger, a kid that literally grew up in, like, the most ass-backwards country of cities, gets to, like, talk to people all over the world. That's, like, such a cool thing, and it just sucks that this is happening during the dumbest time that has ever existed in this fucking country. I could be enjoying this a lot more. I could definitely be enjoying talking to you fine people and having a good time and joking and laughing about shit that isn't so serious if it wasn't for the craziness going on in this country. You guys, we failed. We didn't get Kamala elected. And, well, I don't know. Even if Kamala got elected, I'm sure the fucking MAGA people would be losing their mind right now. So I guess it wouldn't have mattered. But I mean, obviously, Kamala would have been the better president by about 1,000,000%. But I think it'd still be crazy right now. I think the craziness is only magnified by Donald Trump, but not specific to Donald Trump. 30 miles from Springfield. I knew it. It's all a simulation. It's all computer, guys. It's all computer. How many cities does Trump have to attack before people realize that Trump is waging war against America? That's a good segue to hop into this, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. That's a great segue. So, speaking of, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what we're doing with the show. And let's start with the fact that Donald Trump is now sending troops to Portland. And it's insane right now because generally any other timeline, any other president, whether it was George Bush or Barack Obama or Bill Clinton or George Bush Sr., like, you would 100% expect that people on all sides would be looking at what's going on right now and saying to themselves, this is not good. This is, very easy to tell, right in your face, super bad. And when you have people like Gavin Newsom that are actually coming out and saying things like, we might not have an election in 2028. And my response to Gavin Newsom saying we might not have an election in 2028 is, we might not have elections in 2026. Sir, I think you are being very hopeful and believing that we are going to have them in 2026. When you have people like, you have James Comey being indicted in at worst is going to be something that comes, across as a really farcical trial, and we'll get to that in a minute. And then you have, troops being sent to Portland, troops being sent to Chicago, troops being sent to Tennessee, troops being sent to Los Angeles. What other states have they been in now? I mean, any other time, people would be losing their mind. And it is absolutely weird that the group of people that are the most conspiratorial people in the entire country right now seem complacent about the fact that the president of the United States is doing this. And here's the other thing is you would think, okay, well, MAGA isn't responding to this because it's their dude. But we've been doing like 8 months straight of Trump supporters fucking around and find out. This is like on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis, we are like pointing at Trump supporters and going, ha ha. Like, I mean, you would think that by now they might have gotten the plot. Plot being a very good word for it. And figured out that this is definitely going to affect them as much as it's going to affect anybody else in this country. But anyways, we do have now troops being sent to protect war-ravaged Portland. War-ravaged. War-ravaged. Who are the troops? Who are doing the ravaging? Is it the blue-haired liberals with the gigantic gauge earrings and the nose rings? Is it the hipster with his Starbucks coffee? Is a man currently with a caramel macchiato in a venti cup really doing a lot of damage in Portland? Because isn't it just like, don't they just have like a lot of homeless people and people that are doing like psychedelic drugs? Isn't that what it is? I mean, we have definitely changed the meaning of a lot of terminology in this society. Absolutely insane, guys. Portlandia. They invaded Portlandia, guys. Anyways, let's watch the breaking news from CNN. CNN, this should be amusing. Let's get CNN's opinion on this. And then we'll talk about this a little bit.
Continue to follow our breaking news. Just a short time ago, President Trump announcing on Truth Social that
okay, this guy doesn't look real. This guy AI. He doesn't look real.
He is sending troops to Portland, Oregon to protect ICE facilities. Now, Portland is just the latest Democratic-run city that the president has either sent or threatened to send troops to.
I love watching these fucking gigantic vehicles driving through these cities. It's like, it's just everyday life, and then this fucking, like, tank rolls through.
In his
That's like me right there in that truck in front. I'm like, oh, shit. Hopefully that guy doesn't see that my tags expired this month.
growing crackdown on immigration and on crime. CNN's Kevin Liptak joins us now from the White House. Kevin, tell us what more.
Hey, that guy looks more real. I think the guy on the left's AI, but the guy on the right's he's probably real.
Or have you been learning about these latest developments here?
Yeah. Silent. You thought he'd misspelled Poland for a minute. Oh no. Oh no. Trump invades Poland. Wait, didn't Hitler do that?
Yeah, and there's no question this is an escalation in the president's push to deploy the U.S. military on domestic soil. It follows this pattern. We saw it in Los Angeles. We saw it here in Washington, D.C. If the president choosing Democrat-led cities.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about pickleballs. I forgot about pickleballs getting beat up by that 15-year-old girl. You notice how many of these stories have just like been completely swept under the rug now? Like, they accomplished exactly what they wanted to with their Reichstag fire, and then they just moved on from that shit. Like, where is Pickleballs now? That also should be a book. Where is Pickleballs now? Where's the 15-year-old girl that punched him in the nose? Like, remember there was going to be a public trial, guys. There's going to be perhaps a hanging, an execution of sorts for a 15-year-old girl that had beat up Pickleballs and carjacked him. Remember that shit? The whole reason I have 4,000 subscribers on my Angry Ginger Live Clips channel is because this shit is fake as fuck video blew up and got 75,000 views. Like, what happened?
and states to make this push and really kind of pushing the boundaries of the use on domestic soil of the U.S. military. The president writing on Truth Social this morning that at the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I am directing...
Oh, no. Trump says he's sending troops to protect war-ravaged Portland. Also says ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I know you guys saw that stupid fucking evidence that was on the bullet from the guy who shot at the ICE agents and took the life of the 2 detainees and wounded a couple others, right? It literally looks like Kash Patel picked those bullets up off the ground and then used a ballpoint pen to write anti-ICE on it. Anti-ICE! Nobody, that's some cringe shit. Nobody's writing anti-ICE on it. It'd be like fuck ICE. That's what it would be. It would anti-ICE, and it was one bullet. Like, and then of course it came out that the dude's like libertarian, and he's from like Oklahoma, right? And his like brother's like, my brother isn't even like political, but he definitely isn't a leftist. And then they were just like, okay, stop talking about it. They're not falling for us writing shit on the casings with ballpoint pens now. This is just like, it's the dumbest timeline. It's the dumbest timeline.
I love the poorly educated.
I just, what are you even supposed to say to any of this news coming out now? He's protecting ICE from Antifa.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I am also authorizing full force if necessary. Thank you.
Full force! Full force! It's getting harder to laugh at this shit. I'm going to tell you that right now. Full force! That doesn't sound like that would end badly at all. How could that possibly be a bad idea to, open fire on American citizens, even if they have nose rings and bad tattoos? I mean, come on, man. Like, first of all, can we just go over the fact, okay, let's go over this first. Can we go over the fact that all of this information is being disseminated on a fucking social media platform that is owned by the president? Jimmy Carter is rolling in his grave right now. Abraham Lincoln, like the founding fathers right now, like they are all like fucking spinning like a top in their graves right now. Like, right now, the founding fathers are like, and y'all haven't done anything yet? Well, we had this one guy, he had a bullet that said anti-ICE on it. It's getting harder to laugh at. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
For your attention to this matter. Now, there are a lot of unanswered questions here. One is the timeline, when exactly we would see these troops arrive into Oregon. We also don't know what types of troops the president is talking about here, whether it's National Guard, whether it's...
He probably doesn't know either, to be honest. He probably doesn't know either.
Active duty military, and we don't know exactly what legal authorities the president will be...
Just driving around, wasting up all the white man's gas. Sorry, I went a little Clayton Bigsby for a second there.
Relying on, because remember, under law, it sharply limits the use of U.S. troops for domestic law enforcement purposes, and this has really kind of prompted a legal debate.
Benjamin Franklin's tweets would have been wild. Yes, they would have. Benjamin Franklin, a very, very cool figure. If people don't understand, Benjamin Franklin was quite the ladies' man. Benjamin Franklin used to sin so often that Benjamin Franklin had to, like, set up a fucking spreadsheet, like, before Excel was a thing. And he had to, like, put all of his sins in that spreadsheet. And then he was like, I'm going to try not to do this one sin today. So he would, like, put 13 on that bad boy. And then he'd try not to do, like, one of them. And then if he accomplished that shit, he'd give himself a cookie. He was like, yeah, I get to drink a beer tonight because I was a good boy. That's a real
after
story,
the
by the
president
way.
did this in other cities around the country. Now, Portland has seen a number of protests around an ICE facility that's about 2 miles south of the downtown.
Just like
they have
Mercedes,
been mostly
right? Prius.
peaceful, but there have been some violent clashes that have led to injuries for federal officers.
Guys, there they are. There's the Antifa, guys. There's the Antifa. That one person on the curb, she's wearing all black, guys. The Antifa.
It's led to arrests of some of the protesters. At one point, a guillotine was erected outside the building. The Homeland Security Department said at the time that was unhinged behavior. And we've
Look at them. They're sieging, guys. They're sieging the ICE facility.
also seen President Trump talk about this city over the last week. He said on Thursday in the Oval Office that we're going to get out there. He said, quote, "We're going to do a pretty big number on those people in Portland." He called them professionals.
When in your life have you ever heard a president of the United States, of any country, to be honest, even like actual dictatorships and authoritarian countries, ever said we're going to do a real number on those people? We're going to do a real number on those people out there. Not really something that you want people in leadership to say. You guys remember, like, I don't know, like a day ago when they're like, you know, the left needs to tone down the rhetoric, man. Calling us Nazis and fascists and stuff, man. Like, that's crazy that, like, they say all these mean things about us. And then he's like, we're really going to do a number on those people. This shit is so dumb.
Professional agitators and anarchists, and you saw in his Truth Social post today referencing Antifa. The president has taken steps this week to label that group a terrorist organization. Now, leaders in Portland have made pretty clear that they are not welcoming federal intervention. The mayor said this week that, like mayors across the country, I have not asked for,
I'm sure Chuck Schumer will send them a strongly worded letter,
and do not need federal intervention. That's the mayor, Keith Wilson. We've also heard from leaders in the city and state just last night.
He was also calling us Satanists too. Are they going to ban D&D? Are they going to ban Dungeons and Dragons? Is that next, guys? Is that what's going to happen? Are they about to ban Dungeons and Dragons? Are we going back to that time? Is rap music gonna be banned? How about rock and roll? Fuck it, the blues. How far back do we need to go with the fear of the other? How far back with the fear of the other do we need to go, guys? But don't worry, guys. They're not fascist. Don't worry. Not authoritarian at all. Super free speech and all that stuff.
As it seemed clear that this was happening, listen to some of what they said.
I am sick and tired of watching the people.
Nose ring. Called it.
People in my community getting brutalized because they are immigrants or because they dare to speak up.
Hey, she got purple hair too. Y'all done fucked around. You about to find out.
I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm tired of your lip service.
Engage hearings.
Show up and do something.
Boy, I share their
That lady actually gonna whoop somebody's ass, to be honest with you.
frustration. We're trying to use every power we have as the federal
This guy's not gonna. That lady gonna whoop somebody's ass. This dude gonna write a strongly worded email.
team. Obviously, we're in the minority.
So you also heard Jeff Merkley and other officials there say, essentially, don't take the bait, raising the prospect that sending these troops
that lady's taking the bait
into Portland could be essentially
3 for 3. That's 100%.
an effort
Did not pre-watch.
to try and goad them into conflict. And so,
Okay, Silent. We should all dye our hair purple. That's really funny, Silent. That's really funny. Yeah, haha. Haha!
it will be very interesting
I don't have any hair, Silent.
to see how this plays out over the coming days, over the coming week, just as we learn more about what specifically this federal intervention might look like, Danny.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. Appreciate you breaking that down for us, Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah, Kevin.
I love the poorly educated.
Here's the thing about all this. When they say what it's going to look like, I don't think that Trump knows what any of this stuff. I think that Trump just says to himself, I don't like them. They're mean to me. They say mean things to me. I don't like it. They're always talking about me. 97% of all the media always talking to me. 100% in Portland. And then people are like, yeah, we should send the army over there to Portland to, do a number on those people. And he's like, we're going to do a number on those people. I don't know what that means, but it's okay. It's okay. Send the army. Can they take Portland? Sir, Portland is part of the United States. Can they take it, though? Sir, you are actually the president of Portland. I would like Portland. Bring it back. Ah! I could dye my beard. Purple beard would be pretty dope. That'd be pretty dope. Yeah, Antifa is not a gang. Wait until Donald Trump finds out what the Mid-City Crips are. It's not a gang. Antifa is not a gang. There's no fucking, hub. I know that these people have, fucking groups. They got the Proud Boys. They got the Oath Keepers. They got the 3%ers. I recognize that these fucking people are, obsessed with being parts of groups. Fucking Elks Lodge. But being anti-fascist, there's no... You don't get jumped in. Your grandfather was anti-fascist. Oh, fuck. I should find that. Okay. I've got to do this. We got to do this. All right. We got to do this. We have to play this clip. How do I work it? All right. Oh, God damn it. I don't have it. Okay. Let's see if I can just find it. I can do it. There's this clip from these people. And it's the dad and the mom. And they ask the dad about being fascist. And he says, yes, he is. And the mom doesn't understand. I know you guys have probably already seen this. You guys are way smarter and way hipper than I ever will be. What is the name of those people? God dang it. I do have my phone down here. I don't have my phone. Oh, God dang it. This is not... Hold on. We got one more here. You guys... Nope. Everything is logged out down here. All of my stuff is logged out down here. Also, why is my camera so blurry? You guys are making my camera blurry. It's all your guys' fault. God dang it. What was it? What was the name of those people? I need my wife. I need my wife to send me, but she's not here, and she's also not watching. Look at me furiously typing away. Is this the one? No, that's not it. Damn it. Okay, we're going to have to watch that on Wednesday. That was going to be such a good segue. That would have been a great segue. Hold on. One more try. I am the worst Googler. I just want you guys to know that. I have no Google skills. I need producer Nick from this space to come over to this space and help me. Because I'm not good at this. All right, here it is. Oh, I found it. Guys. Oh, dude, I'm the best. You guys doubted me. Okay, you doubted me and you know you did. Don't fucking say you didn't, because I know you guys did. I know you guys doubted me. My camera looks mildly blurry. There's a lot of weird stuff going on right now. Okay. So this is that guy that asks his MAGA parents different things, right? And this shit is fucking mind-blowing. Mind-blowing, because you get both sides of this. You both get a denial and an acceptance that what he's saying is true. It's like, it's one thing where you talk to MAGA and like they just like steadfastly deny fascism, that anything that they're doing is fascist and that we're just mean and we call them names and it leads to political violence. And you're like, okay, so you're like anti-fascist then? And they're like, yeah, so you're Antifa? No, I'm not Antifa. So anyways, this guy is asking his parents, because he does this where he has conversations with his MAGA parents and asks them crazy stuff. And he asks them about being fascist.
Mom, are you a fascist?
I don't think so.
Are you against fascism?
All right, if you answer with "I don't think so," that generally means you don't know what fascism means.
I would say yes.
Then you're Antifa. Dad, are you a fascist?
Wait.
No.
That's what I'm saying, is like her reaction to the fucking, she's like, no, I'm not Antifa. It means anti-fascist.
Are you against fascism?
I'm a Republican.
Are you against fascism?
No, I'm for Republican.
Are you against fascism like everybody who fought in World War II was?
Everybody who fought in World War II was not against fascism.
He's not wrong there. He's not everybody that was in World War II was against fascism, because one side was definitely a fascist side. So he's actually not incorrect about that, but I don't think he knows what the fuck he's talking about.
That's literally what we were fighting against.
You're confusing me.
Wasn't.
Huh? Do you think Hitler was a fascist?
No.
God damn it. Oh, it's fucking mind-blowing.
No? Wait a minute. You don't think Hitler was a fascist?
No.
How about Mussolini?
No.
Mussolini literally made the first fascist party. Okay.
Dude, that's that look. You're just like, I don't know even, what are you supposed to say? What are you supposed to say to people like this? It's just like fucking, there's nothing there. There's nothing left.
I love the poorly educated.
There's just like, there's no brain matter. The synapses aren't firing. The brain cells have left the building, exited, stage left. They have bought a ticket, and it is not round trip. They have put in their 2-week notice. Time is up. Woo! I had to find that. Like, I mean, what do you even say to these people? How are you supposed to fix these people? That's his parents. That's his parents. What are you supposed to say to that person? And of course, this guy has a bunch of other stuff that he does with those guys, and you guys should check him out. It's the Necessary Conversation Pod. It actually gets a lot better when the girlfriend or wife, I guess the wife probably, I bet it's his wife, get involved, because she actually like gets like really upset, and like she's just like, how can you guys believe this shit? What is wrong with you? Like, it is lead poisoning. 100% it had to have been lead. Like that happened, right? Like, you got Donald Trump up here going, Tylenol's the problem. But I swear to God, it's lead. Lead in the water led us to this, which is the dumbest timeline that has ever existed.
I love the poorly educated.
I mean, these are people that believe shit like this.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do, either through the skin or in some other way.
Oh, it's his sister? It's his, if that's his sister, that's even better, because she's like, she probably lives in Portland. She's got a nose ring, tattoos. I think she's got colored hair too. Oh man! I mean, we can't forget this one.
This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water.
And never forget,
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
We are cooked. All right. So anyways, let's talk about the Epstein files and the new information that's coming out. The things surrounding, that isn't water, Trump and the Epstein files, right? So, today, we got this article that came out. Democrats release Epstein records mentioning Musk, Bannon, Thiel, and Prince Andrew. I love that every time Prince Andrew gets mentioned, people are just like he's the one that no one, like, everybody knows he did some shit, allegedly. And they're just like, yeah. Just push Prince Andrew off to the side for a second. We're dealing with the other people. We know that motherfucker did some stuff. But these guys, we need to concentrate on these guys, because these guys are somehow getting away with this. Okay. A breakfast appointment with MAGA leader Steve Bannon, a planned lunch with billionaire Peter Thiel, a mentioning of billionaire Elon Musk potentially coming to the island with the notation, "Is this still happening?" So that's all. Actually, you can see that. I have this queued up. This is the actual document here that they're talking about. And you can see, it has a tentative breakfast with Bill Gates, Ron Barron, and Josh Harris. He played for the Steelers. Sorry, Josh Harris. You've got Saturday, December 6th. This is all 2014, too. By the way, this is well after dude was convicted in 2009. We've got a Gregory Riches on holiday in Aruba. We got Elon Musk to island, December 6th, right before Christmas, guys. I've got a lot of really, really, really bad jokes that I'm just not going to make, but they involve his father in some recent news and what he would want for Christmas. You guys make your own jokes. I'm not that bad of a person. I'm not going to do it. So yeah, you've got this document over there. Let's get that off. Oh no, I just got rid of something. Oh no, I don't know what I just clicked off. Anyways, Democrats on the House Oversight Committee released documents on September 26th from Jeffrey Epstein's estate that mention a number of high-profile figures, including Musk, Thiel, Bannon, Prince Andrew, and Microsoft founder Bill Gates. It should be clear to every American that Jeffrey Epstein was friends with some of the most powerful and wealthiest men in the world, said Oversight spokesperson Sarah Guerrero, adding, Oversight Democrats will not stop until we identify everyone complicit in Epstein's heinous crimes. The 6 pages of documents released by Democrats include parts of Epstein's daily schedule in 2014, 17, and 19, a flight manifest from 2000 with Epstein and Prince Andrew's names on it, and a ledger that twice lists massages for Andrew in 2000. They are a small fraction of the 8,544 records in the third batch the Oversight Committee has received from Epstein's estate, which includes phone message logs, copies of flight logs, Epstein's daily schedules, and copies of ledgers documenting cash transactions. And something that's really important to point out right here is that all of this stuff is coming from the Epstein estate. These are not files that are coming here because of Donald Trump. These are files that are coming here because of the Epstein estate. When we talked about Trump being removed from the power list, that was from a hack into Ghislaine Maxwell's Yahoo Mail email account. Almost everything that we are learning about right now has absolutely nothing, and I do mean nothing, to do with Donald Trump releasing any of these files. In fact, just recently, when Sprague or whatever that supposed Department of Justice guy got honeypotted and spoke on camera about Trump covering up for people and Clinton being involved in flights with children, they immediately denied that happened. They immediately came out and said that guy worked there 15 years ago. He doesn't know shit. We don't know who he is. And by the way, like I said before, we have to take all of this with a grain of salt. We don't know who is clout chasing. We don't know who is full of shit. We don't know who has vendettas. But when you take the greater amount of evidence surrounding all of these things and you start piling it up, this is a fucking mountain of evidence against the most powerful people, not just in our country, but in multiple places on the globe, right? So when they talk about 8,544 records in the third batch from the Oversight Committee, they received it from the Epstein's estate, I want people to remember The birthday book didn't come from Trump's administration. The emails didn't come from Trump's administration. Nothing of any real pertinence up to this point has been released by the Trump administration. Everything is coming from outside sources. The GOP-controlled committee's official X account accused Democrats of selectively releasing records. This is old news, the committee wrote. It's sad how Democrats are conveniently withholding documents that contain the names of Democratic officials. Once again, they are putting politics over victims. Okay, why aren't Republicans releasing that? What do they mean? The Democrats are suppressing Democratic names. Bill Gates is right there. Bill Clinton was mentioned in the Sprague video. We said it over and over and over again. If they have information and they're like, the Democrats are keeping the Democrat names out of it, you're posting right now. You're literally posting. You could just be like, here's the fucking name. Thomas Massie is a Republican. Thomas Massie has been saying names. Thomas Massie named a Republican billionaire donor. Thomas Massie named the head of a bank and a magician. I'm going to just keep mentioning that till we find out. All right? What do you mean? It's fucking insane. Like that anybody believes this shit. I can't fucking...
I love the poorly educated.
We are releasing them all soon, the committee added of the new batch of records. They keep saying that. They do keep saying that. Epstein died by suicide in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. The Trump administration's handling of the documents related to the Epstein case has caused an uproar, including a push by members of Congress to obtain the records. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comey of Kentucky issued a subpoena for the records related to Epstein from the Justice Department on August 5th, after a bipartisan group of lawmakers on the panel voted in favor of the measure in July. The first batch of records was received earlier this month, which was nothing. Like I said, 97% of this. Also, what happened to the subpoena of the Clintons? I'm not here to take sides. I'm saying... what happened? I thought we were subpoenaing the Clintons. Once again, swept under the rug. Why? Because Trump is friends with the Clintons. Like, it's not this fucking hard. I still don't understand how this is fucking not bipartisan. I'm not even talking about politicians. I'm talking about as voters. But I do understand because Trump supporters are in a fucking cult. And they're brainwashed. Democrats on September 8th released a copy of a lewd birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein that they say shows the signature of President Donald Trump, a note he has denied writing. The letter shows Trump's purported message to Epstein inside the outline of a child's body with the president's signature mimicking pubic hair. Epstein pled guilty in Florida state court in 2008 to one count each of soliciting minors for prostitution and soliciting prostitutes. Well, also, because of the fact that we saw the Ghislaine Maxwell emails that were just leaked, we also know that she helped to get those charges reduced to, or had advised him to ask for these certain charges or ones that were different that seemed less. He served 13 months in jail and registered as a sex offender. And he allegedly also abused somebody while out on work release during his time in prison. He was arrested again in 2019 on sex trafficking charges. The records released September 26 by Democrats indicate Epstein had a tentative breakfast scheduled with Gates on December 5th, 2014. They also show a 7 a.m. breakfast scheduled with Bannon on February 16th, 2019. And a noon lunch scheduled with Till on November 27, 2017. I'm going to continue to point out this is long after dude had been convicted of molesting a 14-year-old. Bannon was creating a series of videos with Epstein to help him on his comeback tour during this time. Bannon was White House chief strategist during the early part of Trump's first term. The co-founder of PayPal, Thiel, has donated to conservative causes, including heavy contributions to Vice President J.D. Vance's 2022 U.S. Senate race. Under the date December 6, 2014, Epstein's schedule states, reminder, Elon Musk to Island December 6th. Is this still happening? Musk responded on social media to a post that included a screen grab of an article saying he planned a trip to Epstein's private island with "This is false." We'll see about that. Bannon, Musk, and Thiel did not immediately respond to requests for comment by USA Today. Gates and Prince Andrew have said they regret spending time with Epstein. The Wall Street Journal and the New York Times previously reported that Thiel scheduled meetings with Epstein. He told the Wall Street Journal in 2023, "I was rather naive and I didn't think enough about what Epstein's agenda might have been." That's just so crazy. NBC reported earlier this year that Bannon met with Epstein in 2019 to film interviews for a documentary that was never released. Musk told Vanity Fair in 2019 that he visited Epstein at his house in Manhattan years before for about 30 minutes. "We did not see anything inappropriate at all, apart from the weird art," Musk said. "He tried repeatedly to get me to visit his island. I declined." Doesn't sound like you did. Prince Andrew stepped away from public duties as a royal in 2019 amid the fallout from his relationship with Epstein. His reputation was tarnished by a sex abuse lawsuit filed by Virginia Giuffre, who accused the second son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip of sex trafficking her as a teenager. The abuse lawsuit was settled in February of 2022 for an undisclosed total and a substantial donation to Giuffre's charity. And we all know that Giuffre, of course, recently, took her own life. We believe, at least, that is what happened. So, this is what Trump said. This is so fucking insane. This is what Trump said. "I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island." Just you're being invited to the dude's island says a lot about who the fuck you are. Like, that's so crazy. Did anyone catch Trump's speech at the UN? No wonder all the other countries are looking at America like we are all nuts. Oh, we're going to watch something. We should watch that next. Chuck, you're giving me all the segues. You're giving me segues. There is, I don't know how many of you guys remember Christopher Hitchens, but Christopher Hitchens, there's an AI Christopher Hitchens, and I am not a huge fan of all the AI stuff, but if we can bring back George Carlin and Christopher Hitchens, it's going to be amazing. And so I have a video queued up for Christopher Hitchens roasting Donald Trump's UN speech. So, but first, before we get to that, I wanted to follow up because last Wednesday or Thursday, we went over the big statues that were placed outside of the Capitol building with Trump and Epstein, with the best friends forever stuff, right? And of course, like, you get permits and stuff for this stuff, and you're allowed to have this stuff up because as long as you have a permit, you can do it, right? So I wanted to follow up on this, which is what we talked about a little bit the other day, because this is Donald Trump raging and throwing a fit and getting it taken down. This is what Donald Trump does. Donald Trump has said it over and over again. He's a big ass crybaby. He doesn't like getting what he puts out there. He doesn't like being bullied. He doesn't like being called a Yahtzee. He doesn't like to being called fascist. He doesn't like to, because he can dish it out, but he can't take it. And he was used to fighting with, Republicans like Ted Cruz and little Marco Rubio. And now that he's dealing with people that actually can defend themselves, now he's getting really, really upset. So recently, what's happening? Gray pill. Breaking: James Comer has just issued subpoenas in the Epstein case. Among those subpoenaed are Hillary, Bill Clinton, Bill Barr, Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, Merrick Garland, and James Comey. Oh, really? I don't know anything about that. I'll have to check that out. Okay. So we never had this problem. Team behind Epstein Trump statue reacts to its removal. The statue of President Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein holding hands wasn't the first anti-Trump protest statue to go up on the National Mall, but those behind it said the National Park Service moved to take it down. The installation was unbelievable and disappointing. And this is because most of these monuments, have permits, and they're allowed to be up for a certain amount of time. Now, the monument currently over in Thailand that has Donald Trump's face on it with Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, and Xi Jinping, that one gets to stay up as long as they want because it's in Thailand and Trump can't do shit about it. All he can do is be mad. But, of course, we also had recently the TV that they had up that would play videos of Trump and Epstein at parties together. And then we had this one as well that had Epstein and Donald Trump, and it said like best friends forever, and then it had the birthday post that was from the 50th birthday book on it. So earlier this week, an anonymous group called the Secret Handshake unveiled a 12-foot piece of Trump and Epstein holding hands in a prancing position. I love that they said it was a prancing position, with a tongue-in-cheek reference to Friendship Month. The art installation was intended to prompt conversation about the president's relationship with the late sex offender. Controversy around Epstein's criminal case files has divided Republicans and roiled the Trump administration for months. Before dawn on September 24th, representatives with NPS removed the statue and damaged it in the process. The Department of the Interior said only that the statue was not compliant with the permit, but the permit obtained by USA Today says the organizers would receive a 24-hour notice if their permit was going to be revoked. So this is what they did to it. Like, I mean, that's some ass mad right there, okay? That gives ass mad, okay? That's what that gives right there. That is, he probably sent ICE agents out there. Probably told them, go out there and get them. There's Antifa, and they're putting up statues. The Antifa are putting up statues, guys. So, this gives ass mad. Let's accept that that's true. I've never had this problem in all the years I've been doing this, said Carol Fleshier, a DC location manager who has worked on major films like Wedding Crashers and Disney's National Treasure movies. Isn't that Nicolas Cage? That's pretty funny. Fleshier said she was hired by the Secret Handshake to be the location manager for the installation. She called the day the statue came down unbelievable. I've been doing this for 40 years, she said. The word to use is, I'm very disappointed. That's so classy. It's so classy. Okay. A National Park Service permit obtained by USA Today shows the statue was supposed to be on display through 8 p.m. September 28th, but the Secret Handshake said NPS representatives appeared around 5:30 a.m. September 24th, toppled the statue, and took it to a government warehouse. Footage shared by the group shows someone identifying himself with NPS telling people behind the camera the statue was not compliant because it is too big before workers push the statue over. This is their Saddam Hussein moment. They're like, we got the statue down. I thought these people were against removing statues. I thought they were totally against the removal of statues. I thought they loved statues. Fleshier was also told the statue was bigger than what was outlined in the permit, but she said it was still smaller than the overall limit for the area. By the way, this is a lady who knows what she's doing. She says she's been doing this for 40 years. The permit says it may be revoked at any time after providing 24 hours written notice to the permittee, setting forth the reasons for the revocation. Fleshier said they did not receive any notice. Organizers at the Secret Handshake, who wished to remain anonymous, said it was an example of an attack on free speech. The organization and Fleshier said they tried to get the permit reinstated, but they were not allowed to put it back up. The Department of the Interior did not respond to multiple requests for an explanation. And this is where we're getting, right? So Trump and all of his cronies and all of his supporters like to scream about free speech, right? Free speech, free speech, free speech. But then when somebody says something mean about Trump, they're no longer free speech advocates. They want to call people names. They want to be insulting. They want to be bullies. The moment that anybody else does one of those things to them, all of a sudden the left is mean. Right-wing extremists commit violence at a 76% clip, and no one bats a fucking eyelash. The senator in Minnesota, Hortman, and her husband are literally murdered in front of their child. Don't bat a fucking eyelash. Charlie Kirk dies, they're ass mad, and they want everybody fired. This is like, it's never going to stop. It's been 7 months, 8 months now of just hypocrisy, 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 hypocrisy. It never stops. It's never going to stop because this is the playbook. They know that nobody on their side is ever going to call them out for anything they do. And they know that on the left, there's always going to be a certain group of people on the left that is concerned about the way that they are portrayed by other members within the left. So you're always going to have this dichotomy of people on the left that are criticizing, self-criticizing people within, thus they'll stop taking the actions that the right criticizes them of. Meanwhile, on the right, they'll just continue to deny that they were ever taking a part in any of this stuff, including the President of the United States. The secret handshake told USA Today they are a small group of citizens using The secret handshake told USA Today they are a small group of citizens using art and humor, I just put those two words together, to prompt political discourse. The statue was located across the street from the U.S. Capitol building facing the expanse of the National Mall lawns that leads to the Washington Monument. They said the statue took about a month to build. The secret handshake has put up anti-Trump installations in the past. The group also erected the so-called dictator-approved piece, an 8-foot-tall sculpture of a hand squashing the crown of the Statue of Liberty while making a thumbs-up gesture, and the gold TV statue, multimedia installation, in which a gold TV showed images of Trump dancing, including with Epstein. But this one seemed to have a bigger impact. Fleischer pointed out that it received mention on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, which Donald Trump swears to God he doesn't watch, on CBS. He put the statue in the same victory for free speech category as the return of Jimmy Kimmel to his late night spot on ABC following a suspension over comments. So, this is our fourth statue over the last few months. They may not have liked everything, but we certainly didn't have anything revoked. We didn't have any warnings, Fleischer said. For me and our group, it's heartbreaking. We worked so hard. So, like I said, the thing about this is you can say you don't like it. You can say it's not in good taste. You can say that it's offensive. Any of those things is completely acceptable. However, what you can't say is that you're for free speech. You can't say that you believe that we live in a society where Americans should be able to speak out against the President of the United States of America, whether it's Biden or Clinton or Obama or Trump or Bush. You can't say those things and then do things like this. Because if you are going to do those things, then you are a hypocrite and you are a liar. And this is something that, once again, when we look at MAGA Republicans, it is 100% the truth. They are liars, they are dishonest, they are hypocritical, and they don't care. Because like I said before, they're just going to tell you, yeah, shut up, whatever, lib, we don't give a shit. They're going to say whatever they need to say to their constituents. They're going to act as though the things that they do are never actually, the same as what they accuse the left of. But in fact, it's actually worse than what the left does. Because we might have had some times with left-leaning people who chose to, cancel certain, movements or people over things that like they found to be evil or bad. But when you look at what you're seeing on the right and what they accuse the left of doing, it's the exact same thing. And when people on the left, even though I do believe in boycotts, by the way, I do believe that cancel culture in many ways are just boycotts. And I do believe that oftentimes, a lot of the online opinionated Twitter storm, Facebook, everybody knows the guilty verdict before it happens. Part of our society is bad, right? Boycotts are good. People choosing to call people's employers and get them fired over opinions is bad. Now, like I said, there's a very thin line between those two things. But the right is doing not only what they accuse the left of, but they're taking it further because they're saying, we will do this and we will be worse about it. And that is only going to end with having the exact same thing happen from the other side when the other side is in power. This is why Rogan came out and said what happened with Kimmel was bad. This is why Ted Cruz came out and said what happened with Kimmel was bad. When a person that is in the spotlight chooses to express their opinion, it is the right of both Republicans and Democrats to push back against that opinion and even boycott their business if they choose to do so. But it is not acceptable for the President of the United States to take criticism from the citizenry and then suppress it. That is not acceptable. And what is going on when you have something like this, where you take down a statue that is literally a representation of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, the reason you're taking it down is because you know it's the truth and you want to suppress it. Okay. Yeah, the left are a lot smarter than the right, but that's our downfall. Okay. Our downfall is we're a lot smarter than the fucking right. It's our weakness.
I love the poorly educated.
And our strength. Oh, I saw the Guar thing. The Guar thing was hilarious. A lot of people finding out who Guar is, what 4chan is, what a Groiper is. It's a strange time. I do remember what I clicked off there. I did a good job. I did a good job, guys. I remembered what I clicked off. And you guys are going to like this one, okay? You guys are going to like this. This is amazing. I hope you guys are ready for this. It's a little music break, guys, because you guys know every once in a while I like to watch some music videos. We like some Jesse Wells on here. We like some Randy Rainbow. And you know what else we like? We also like the Remix Bros, guys. We also like the Remix Bros. And this is their new Trump
Today we're
Autism
delighted to be
remix.
joined by America's top medical and public health professionals as we
Shit's
announce
fire,
historic
guys.
steps to confront the crisis of autism. I want to say it like it is. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. Don't do it. Don't take.
It's a real banger, just so you guys know. And also, just so you know, there is a really good video out by Dr. K, for those of you guys who knew about who Dr. K is. What is his channel? Something Gaming, The Healthy Gamer. And he has a great video where he goes over acetaminophen and any type of link, and he really debunks a lot of RFK Jr.'s bullshit, and he does it in a very non-biased way. He even admits that there are things that he thinks are important to look into, but you know, he talks about all the confounding factors, including age, including the fact that women getting sick during pregnancy actually increases the rate of autism in children well over 10 times over, if not more. The taking of a, and once again, this is all correlation. It is not causation. None of these things are for sure, and I don't speak to it well because obviously I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I can't speak to these things really well, and this is why I always like to play these videos on stream. So just as a little bit of a, you should go check this out. Like if you want to look further into this in a serious way, nothing to do with the Remix Bros.
Tylenol. Don't take it. And don't give Tylenol to your child. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. Don't have your baby take Tylenol. Just don't give it. Don't take Tylenol.
Dude, doesn't RFK Jr. look mad in the back? Doesn't he look mad? You think his brainworm, you think it's active?
Take Tylenol. Don't take it. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. Acetaminophen. Who the hell knows what it is? So I just want to say acetaminophen is basically Tylenol. Don't take it. Don't ever do it. What's the worst? The worst is nothing can happen.
I love too that he just calls it Tylenol as though it's the only thing that has acetaminophen in it. Like, I bet you Donald Trump doesn't know that there's acetaminophen in other things.
Not a doctor, but I'm giving my opinion. Don't take it. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. When you have your baby, don't give your baby Tylenol. Don't do it. There's no doubt.
Dude, Suzanne, the other day, I got up in the morning and I had a hangover. One too many tequila and waters. One too many Modelos. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to take me some Tylenol. I'm about to get my autism on.
In not taking it. Don't take Tylenol. It doesn't hurt not to do it. It doesn't hurt. There's no downside.
Like
There's
that?
no downside at all. It's practically a known fact. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. Don't do it. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. And don't give Tylenol to your child. Don't take.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. That was fucking amazing. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's get that one more time. That was amazing.
If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. Don't do it. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. And don't give Tylenol to your child. Don't take.
You guys know that they think Eric Trump is going to run for president? Do you guys fucking know that? Have you guys seen those reports that Eric Trump might run for president? Dude, fucking, we do not need Butthead as the president. Like, there are very few cases in which this country could get dumber. And if fucking the literal lifelike creation of Butthead, the live action version of Butthead being the president of the United States, that's quite possibly one of the only scenarios that this shit could get dumber.
Tylenol. Don't take it. Don't have your baby take Tylenol. Just don't give it. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. And you know, I'm a big supporter of vaccines. Big believer in vaccines. I know Bobby and you guys have it out a little bit, but he's a believer in vaccines too. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say. I'm just making these statements from me. I'm not making them from these doctors. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism. Is that a correct statement, by the way? There are some studies that suggest that, yeah.
I'm sorry, Christina. I'm sorry for getting this stuck in your head. It should be stuck in your head, though. It's a good song. Hold on. We got to hear RFK Jr. talk one more time. Let's hear RFK Jr. talk again.
Is that a correct statement, by the way? There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish, for example. The Amish.
That's the only word I got out of that. That's like he said something about the Amish people.
Yeah, virtually. I heard none. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. Don't do it. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. And don't give Tylenol to your child. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. Don't have your baby take Tylenol. Just don't give it. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Guys.
I love the poorly educated.
You want some? Here's some other health advice from Donald Trump.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way.
Mm-hmm. So just remember, guys, just remember that. If you guys do want it, like I said, if you want a good video on just like the discussion surrounding causes for autism, you should check out the Dr. K video. I believe it's called Healthy Gamer is his channel. My son being on the spectrum, I actually have reached out to Dr. K before to attempt to have a conversation. No reply back. He's got like 3 million subscribers. I don't think he wants to talk to me. Oh, guys. What is this timeline, guys? I don't even know what to say sometimes. Like, it really is the dumbest timeline that has ever existed. Like, I say that shit in jest. Shout out 21st Century Suffragettes for playing that clip of me saying that shit. But I say it in jest, but not really, right? Like, I mean that shit. You look around at everything going on nowadays, and you just say to yourself, you're like, there is no limit to the stupidity of this administration. Like, there's not a cap. Like, there's a lot of things you can measure, right? Like, you can measure how high you can jump. You can measure how fast you can run. You know, like, we have, like, Usain Bolt. And we're like, wow, that guy, he ran faster than we thought he could. That's crazy, okay? But then you're like, the chance that somebody soon is going to run faster than Usain Bolt, it's not real high, right? Like, you're like, that's just probably going to be like a couple of years, 4, 5, 10, 15 years before we see somebody run faster than Usain Bolt. Like, wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like, this administration sets new records in stupidity, sometimes multiple times a day. Sometimes multiple times a day. Like, if we're being honest, guys, to give these guys credit, it's a feat that cannot be duplicated. I shouldn't say that because Eric Trump doesn't want to run for president. I shouldn't say that. But if you think if you think about the amount of stupidity, the sheer amount, it is pretty fucking impressive. Because every time they do something, you're like, that's probably the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I've been alive for half a century. And then like an hour later, you're like, okay, that's actually the dumbest thing I have ever seen in my life. And I have been alive for half a century. It doesn't fucking stop. You never heard of the Remix Bros? Christina, they're the best. All right, I'm going to put the Remix Bros video in here for you guys. These guys make the dopest videos. You guys, like I said, I think I have to make a channel, a third channel. I think I'm going to make a third channel. So I got the Angry Ginger live clips where we cut up the videos and we play some live clips there. We end up with so many live clips that I now play them on the regular channel too. So we've got live clips on the live clips channel. We've got clips and videos and live streams on the main channel. But we've also been doing like funny stuff and music. And I started this channel doing some like music reactions and stuff too. If you guys have never seen my super hot take on Hello, is it me you're looking for? Okay, I did it was a creepy video. And so I did a reaction to that. But maybe we'll move those videos over onto a separate channel. Maybe we'll go 3 channels, guys, as though I don't have enough jobs. I have plenty of jobs, but I think we're going to need to do it. You guys should subscribe to the Remix Bros. They're super dope. They're awesome. They're amazing. And I love all the stuff they do. All right, so let's talk about the rest of the super amazing, awesome stuff that's going on in this country right now. Let's talk about James Comey. Let's talk about Comey being indicted. Which, you know, to be honest, like I said, when people were like, I think it was like, did Bob Cox come in the other day? I was on the other channel, so I don't think I got to make fun of him. But MAGA's like, Comey's gonna, you know, get in trouble. It's like, Comey was your dude. Comey was the reason that Hillary Clinton lost that election. Like, in some ways, even though I 100% do not agree with the way that Donald Trump is going about this, it is kind of karma. Hot take. Hot take, guys. Because I know there's going to be a lot of people that are like, no, we're on Comey's side now. I've said this about Cohen, Michael Cohen. I actually, in some ways, like Michael Cohen because he's a lot like me and talks a lot of shit. He uses coarse language. And that does, in fact, appeal to me, guys, just so you guys know. That does, in fact, appeal to me. But I do still look at Michael Cohen as being like, hey, he did all this shit for Donald Trump. Like, I'm not happy with the guy. I'm happy that he's come to his senses. And I'm also, like, I do believe in past redemption for people. So, like, it's great that he is now, you know, speaking out against Donald Trump. But, you know, I've always said this. You can forgive, but you don't have to forget. And you shouldn't. In fact, you shouldn't forget, right? You should always remember, just in case that person repeats those actions again later. So that way you're aware that that person did not actually, apologize or feel bad about what they're doing because they did those things to you again. So Comey is kind of a funny one for me because he did, in fact, lead to Hillary Clinton's loss. Like, this does in some ways feel like you are reaping what you have sown. You did, and maybe, you know, from Comey's point of view, Comey's saying, I was just doing my job. You know, maybe from Comey's point of view, he's saying, you know, like, this was, I was doing it by the book. That's acceptable, but you can't deny the fact that James Comey 100% did influence Donald Trump getting elected in the first place, which is kind of insane because now Trump, of course, is now trying to prosecute him. Fucking insane. Let's see. So let's go down here. Sorry, bro, not doing it. The less I see of that half-witted Copeland. It's okay, Kevin. You don't have to go subscribe. Remix Bros are tight, but there's a lot of Kevin Copeland over there. Jessica Denson too. She's doing major work to fight Trump. Yeah, I like Jessica Denson as well. Jessica Denson is awesome. I agree. Okay. So the sparse indictment of Comey by Trump's Justice Department belies a complicated backstory. The indictment of former FBI Director James Comey is only 2 pages and alleges he falsely testified to Congress in 2020 about authorizing someone to be an anonymous source in news stories. So I wanted to read this to you guys and a little bit of a follow-up here in a second as well, because I wanted to go over the charges and stuff with you guys. That brevity belies a convoluted and contentious backstory. The events at the heart of the disputed testimony are among the most heavily scrutinized in the Bureau's history, generating internal and congressional investigations that have produced thousands of pages of records and transcripts. And this is most likely the reason it's only like 2 pages is because they rushed it. I believe the statutes of limitations were going to be Tuesday of this week, and so they rushed this. And a lot of what Trump has done has been really poorly done. Like, there is no person out there that has any like legitimate knowledge of the law or of the inner workings of the judicial system that could look at what Trump has done, what Alina Habba has done, what Bondi has done, and what the new lady that is prosecuting this case because the other guy quit have done. It's all very rookie. It's very noob, right? Those investigations were focused on how Comey and his agents conducted high-stakes inquiries into whether Russia was helping Republican Donald Trump's campaign during the 2016 presidential race against Democrat Hillary Clinton and her use of a private email server while she was Secretary of State. And we can go over all of that stuff. I've gone over it a million times. Here are some things to know about that period and how they fit into Comey's indictment. The indictment alleges that Comey made a false statement in testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The single quote from the indictment appears to be from an interaction with Senator Ted Cruz. Prosecutors contend Comey lied when he denied having authorized anyone at the FBI to be an anonymous source to the media. In fact, prosecutors allege he had done that very thing by telling someone identified as Person 3 in the indictment to speak to reporters. It's such a bare-bones indictment, said Solomon Weissenberg, a former federal prosecutor and now a defense attorney in private practice. We do not know what the evidence is going to be at trial. So what did Comey say to Congress? Weissenberg said the testimony in question appears to have come when Cruz was pressing Comey over the role that his deputy director, Andy McCabe, played in authorizing a leak to the Wall Street Journal for a story examining how the FBI handled an investigation into Clinton's use of a private email server when she was Secretary of State, which is what I was just talking about. Cruz's question was complicated, but it boiled down to pitting Comey against McCabe. The senator noted that Comey told Congress in 2017 that he had not authorized anyone to speak to reporters, but Cruz asserted that McCabe had publicly and repeatedly said he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Cruz asked, "Who's telling the truth?" Comey answered, "I stand by the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017. At that time, Comey had been put on the spot by Senator Charles Grassley, who was the ripe old age of probably like 92 at that time. Comey was asked whether he had ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source. Comey answered, no. The indictment says Comey falsely stated that he had not authorized somebody, which is just repetitive. Person 3 is not identified in the indictment. That person appears to have been discussing an investigation related to Clinton based on a clearer reference in a felony charge that grand jurors rejected. Comey figured in several inquiries into alleged leaks into the Clinton investigation. Once again, this is information on Clinton. So we all know from the Mueller report that Donald Trump would have been put on trial for obstruction of justice. From the words of his own Attorney General, William Barr. William Barr said he would have, if Donald Trump was not the sitting president of the United States, because there's not precedent to hold the sitting president accountable for this by putting them on trial, that he would have put him up on charges of obstruction of justice. We also know that from the Mueller report that Donald Trump may not have been found to have had collusion with Russians. The people around him 100% did. And he had, in the smartest thing that Donald Trump has ever done in his criminal career as a president of the United States, had put enough distance between him and the people that were speaking to Russians that they could not directly tie it to Donald Trump. That's what the Mueller report decided. Now, Comey, on the other hand, when they're talking about the emails here, they're talking about his investigations into Hillary Clinton's email servers, which, as I said before, because of those leaks, led to Hillary Clinton most likely losing that election. Okay. One involved McCabe, who told the Justice Department's Inspector General that as Deputy FBI Director, which is Dan Bongina now, he had authorized a subordinate to talk to a journal reporter. He told investigators he had informed Comey about that interaction after the fact. So he told him after the fact. So Comey's defense is probably going to be that he did not authorize it. It's unlikely an indictment is focused on that episode because McCabe never told investigators that Comey had authorized him to talk to the media, only that the FBI director was aware that McCabe had done so. Two other leak investigations involved a friend of Comey's who served for a time as a paid government advisor to the director. The advisor, Daniel Rickman, has told investigators he spoke to the media to help shape perceptions of the embattled FBI chief. Rickman, a law professor at Columbia University, was interviewed by FBI agents in 2019 about leaks to the media that concerned the Bureau's investigation into Clinton. Richman said Comey had never authorized him to speak to the media about the Clinton investigation, but he acknowledged Comey was aware that he sometimes engaged with reporters. So once again, a lot of this is going to come down to whether or not he authorized those people. Comey has acknowledged using Rickman as a conduit to the media in another matter. After Comey was fired by Trump in 2017, he gave Rickman a memo that detailed his interactions with the president. Comey later testified to Congress that he had authorized Rickman to disclose the contents of a memo to journalists with the hopes of spurring the appointment of a special counsel who might investigate Trump. So the funny thing about all this is all because of Donald Trump being upset with him, right? So he's just finding a reason. AG, I'm embedded in Portland. I'm hunkered down in my condo bunker. I'll keep you posted as troops take the neighborhood. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you. Stay safe, buddy. Stay safe. So Trump blames Comey for having started an investigation into Russia's meddling in the 2016 campaign that led to the appointment of special counsel Robert Mueller. Mueller spent the better part of 2 years investigating Trump, which we just went over. In the end, Mueller uncovered no evidence that Trump or his associates criminally colluded with Russia, but found that they had welcomed Moscow's assistance. In fact, Trump said in a video that if Russians had Hillary Clinton's emails, he would be interested in them, right? And of course, now he's called it a Russian hoax. Trump has spent the ensuing years bashing Comey and saying he is worthy of being charged with treason, which is not true. He's not being charged with treason, of course. Just days before the indictment, Trump publicly urged his Attorney General Bannon to act against Comey and to others perceived Trump enemies. And of course, that was just recently what looked like Donald Trump speaking to Pam Bondi in what was probably a Signal chat, but he put it on Truth Social, and he pretty much told her, like, she's going to have to charge these people or else. And that included bringing in this new lady that has absolutely no fucking experience ever prosecuting anything like this before. Within the hours of the indictment being returned, Trump turned again to social media to gloat. Justice in America. One of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to is James Comey. No, it's Donald Trump, by the way. Comey has hardly backed down, criticizing Trump on a host of matters. In fact, saying a higher loyalty, Comey compared Trump to a mafia don and said he was unethical and untethered to truth. Comey went on to say, my family and I have known for years there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent, so let's have a trial. Now, the funny thing about this is, like I was just saying, about the lady who is now in charge of this, they're already fucking this up. And we haven't talked about this a lot on stream, but the way that Trump and Patel and different people, Bondi, have been doing things in social media, they jeopardize a lot of their cases by showing evidence that they shouldn't be showing, by making accusations and forming public opinion through social media that could, in many ways, even get the Charlie Kirk shooter off. Because if you do things in a certain manner, that can end in those trials being tossed out. And this administration is a social media entertainment administration, right? This is a little bit different than that. So the U.S. Magistrate Judge Lindsay Valla expressed confusion and surprise at some points during the 7-minute court session when a federal grand jury impaneled in Alexandria, Virginia, returned the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey. According to a transcript of the proceedings obtained by CBS, Judge Valla asked the newly named interim U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan, which is the lady that Trump talked about in the tweet being moved into the position vacated by the guy who would not prosecute this case, right? She's a former Trump lawyer. Of course she is. Asked her why there were 2 versions of the indictment. It's fucking crazy. A majority of the grand jury that reviewed the Comey matter voted not to charge him with one of the 3 counts presented by prosecutors. That's according to a form that was signed by the grand jury's foreperson and filed in court. He was indicted on 2 other accounts, which are making false statements to Congress and obstructing a congressional proceeding, which 14 of 23 jurors said that they could take this to trial, right? But 2 versions of the indictment were published on the case docket, one with a dropped 3rd count and one without. So in other words, they tried to most likely get through, even after the grand jury said no to 1 count, they tried to push through the indictment with 3, all 3 on it. That is most likely, in my opinion, what they're doing here. She said, "So this has never happened before. I've been handed 2 documents that are in the Mr. Comey case that are inconsistent with one another. There seems to be discrepancy. They're both signed by the grand jury foreperson." She noted that one document did not clearly indicate what the grand jury had decided. The one that says it's a failure to concur in an indictment, it doesn't say with respect to 1 count. It looks like they failed to concur across all 3 accounts. So I'm a little confused as to why I was handed 2 things with the same case number that are inconsistent. Halligan, this lady who's just been put in this position to prosecute this case, initially responded that she hadn't seen that version of the indictment. She said, "I only reviewed the one with the 2 counts that our office redrafted when we found out about the 2 counts that were true billed. I signed that one. I did not see the other one. I don't know where that came from." The judge responded with, "You didn't see it?" She said, "I did not see that." Valla seemed surprised. She said, "So your office didn't prepare the indictment that they," and Halligan butts in and says, No. I know. I prepared 3 counts. I only signed the 1. The 2 count, I don't know which 3 counts you have." Which Valla, of course, said, "Okay, well, your signature's on it." So she's saying she didn't see it, but she did sign it. Valla also noted that the court session began unusually late at 6:47 p.m., telling the grand jurors, "I don't think we've ever met this late." It's just more of a shit show. So, as I said before, the one guy was a part of this, and he dropped out. And that dude was Eric Siebert. He announced his resignation on Friday following worries among his staff that he could be firing for failing to criminally charge another Trump adversary, New York attorney General Letitia James. A day later, Mr. Trump announced Siebert had been fired and posted a message suggesting Pam Bondi should look into Comey, James, and a 3rd longtime Trump foil, Adam Schiff of California. It's just buffoonery. It's very rookie, right? Did somebody say the sound cut off? Is my sound working? I hope my sound is working. It's just buffoonery. It's all buffoonery. There's nothing about this. Oh, thank you. Silent can still hear me. That's good. That's all that matters. And it's just getting dumber. It's just getting dumber by the day.
I love the poorly educated.
So, just your PC. I gotta work on that PC. I'm sorry. And at this point, he's literally just throwing shit against the wall to see if it sticks. That's all he's doing. Like, there's nothing about any of this stuff that is intelligent, well formulated. You know, when Alvin Bragg brought the New York indictment against Trump for hiding the evidence of his payments to Stormy Daniels to unduly influence his election, I was like, yeah, I don't know about this case. And then as I watched it play out, I was like, wow, actually, they did a great job with this. Like, I mean, it convinced a guy to hold Trump accountable, to find him guilty on all 34 accounts, that literally got all of his news from Truth Social. That was pretty crazy. This is the opposite of that. This is literally Trump is just going to try to bully lawyers and judges into finding guilty people that he doesn't like, whether it's Letitia James or Adam Schiff or it's Comey or, you know, whoever else. This is authoritarian dictatorship. It is fascism. It is not something that any person in this country should be applauding, whether you're a Trump supporter or not. Because if you are a Trump supporter and you are applauding these things, you are going to wake up one day and find yourself in a place where this is going to be used against you. And you're going to wish that you had not stood in support of it when you had the chance to stand up against it. So, anyways, I wanted to go over that stuff. And then, now I also, I don't know if you guys know about this, but this is going to be, my friends, this is a good thing. I'm not normally a big AI supporter. Suzanne, I always curse. Oh, she's cursing. I'm not a big AI supporter, guys. I think it has its uses. I think most of the uses that we're using it for are really dumb. I think we should be using it for things for like curing cancer, for dealing with climate change, for, you know, helping with societal issues, things like that. But if there is one place that I can get in full support of, it is the use of it to bring Christopher Hitchens back. And if we could do it with George Carlin as well, I would be pretty excited. So I just wanted to get this channel for you guys. This is a channel. It's about the same size as my channel, just a little bit bigger. So you guys know I like to talk about channels that are smaller. This channel is Christopher Hitchens Resurrection. And it is Christopher Hitchens, who is one of my favorite guys of all time. I love me some Christopher Hitchens. And he has one that, the reason I know about this channel is he posted about this guy going off on Joe Rogan, right? And it was absolutely amazing. And then I saw this one, which is the UN speech from Trump and him going off on it. And I was like, we have to watch this. So I have not seen this yet. You guys are going to watch this for the first time with me. So let's check it out.
The United Nations General Assembly has witnessed many degrading spectacles in its 8 decades of existence. Khrushchev's shoe-banging, Gaddafi's 2-hour ramblings about Switzerland, Ahmadinejad's Holocaust denials, but nothing quite prepared the world's diplomats for the sight of Donald Trump blaming a broken teleprompter for his inability to form coherent sentences, as if the presence or absence of scrolling text could make any difference to a man who speaks like someone translating their own thoughts from a language that doesn't exist. Here was the
Do you guys remember too? I thought it was a whole thing. I thought Trump didn't need teleprompters, man. Remember, Joe Biden sucks because Joe Biden needs a teleprompter. Turns out Donald Trump needs teleprompters.
President of the United States standing before representatives of every nation on earth, opening his address by complaining about the escalator and making jokes about his wife's physical fitness.
He's just like them. He said it, and we were so wrong.
I love the poorly educated.
He's just like them. Dude, and you guys like how Jesse Waters threatened to bomb the UN because that was an attempted assassination of Donald Trump using the escalator.
Transforming what should have been a moment of international diplomacy into something resembling a drunk wedding toast delivered by an uncle everyone wishes had stayed home. The speech itself, and I use the word generously, as one might describe the noises made by farm animals as conversation, was a masterclass in how to humiliate your nation while genuinely believing you're demonstrating its greatness. Trump claimed to have ended 7 wars in 7 months, wars that most international observers hadn't realized were happening, including apparently a 36-year conflict that would have had to start before some of the countries involved even existed in their current form. He spoke of ending the war between Kosovo and Serbia, apparently unaware that this conflict ended in 1999.
Oh, hell yeah, brother. I claim that one too. If you guys don't know, I've actually ended a lot of wars. I've ended a lot of wars, guys.
He was still pretending to be a businessman rather than playing one on television. But the mathematics of mendacity reached its apex when he claimed that in 8 months he had secured $17 trillion in investment into the United States, compared to less than $1 trillion under Biden's entire
which was, I believe, fucking Biden had 1.6 or 1.7 trillion dollars returned to the economy by the end of his 4 years.
4 years. 17
trillion. Numbers are not their friends.
I love the poorly educated.
$1 trillion, more than 3/4 of America's entire GDP,
too, Lauren.
more than the combined GDP of Japan, Germany, and the United Kingdom, apparently materialized because Trump said so. Even the delegates from nations where reality is treated as a bourgeois concept looked uncomfortable at this level of fabrication. It's one thing to lie, it's another to lie so preposterously that you insult the intelligence of people who've sat through presentations by North Korean trade representatives. The climate change portion of the speech deserves special recognition as perhaps the most concentrated display of aggressive ignorance ever delivered from that podium.
Aggressive ignorance. Very nice. I say aggressively gullible. Aggressive ignorance is actually... No, they're both true. They're both aggressively gullible and aggressively ignorant because they seek out, like, well, okay, so in both ways, I guess they don't seek it out. Aggressively ignorant, they aggressively avoid the information, but aggressively gullible, they actively seek out to be taken advantage of. That's what I'm going with.
Trump, with the confidence of someone who thinks ice cubes disprove global warming, declared climate change the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, apparently forgetting he was standing in a building surrounded by water that's risen measurably since the UN's founding. He mocked.
This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water.
The carbon footprint as a hoax made up by people with evil intentions, while boasting about clean, beautiful coal, a phrase that makes as much sense as dry, refreshing water. His evidence against climate science was that Obama flew in an airplane, as if the existence of air travel somehow negates atmospheric physics.
Somebody the other day on my Joe Rogan video goes, "That's why Obama has mansions in Florida." It's like, I don't think you guys understand how rich people work. I mean, I know you don't, because you guys don't think that Trump is a billionaire that doesn't give a shit about you, which is 100% true. But, like, how is that an argument against climate change that, like, they have throwaway money, dog? Like, you should recognize that means that they 100% have so much fucking money that they don't give a shit if the fucking ocean rises up and swallows their mansions. Oh, my God.
By this logic, doctors who get sick prove medicine doesn't work, and Trump's multiple bankruptcies prove capitalism is a failure, though actually, that last one might have some merit. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the leader of the world's second-largest carbon emitter explained that wind turbines are pathetic and start to rust and rot, as if coal plants are immortal monuments that require no maintenance and produce nothing but prosperity and rainbow-scented emissions.
Dude, Donald Trump believes that shit, though. Like I said, you guys go back to the white genocide. You go back to the African president coming over and talking to Trump, and he had those papers in his hand, and the African dude was trying to say, like, we can come together as countries and we can do these trade deals and it's going to be great for both our countries. And Trump's like, first we have to talk about the white genocide. And he's got the papers in his hands and he shows it to him. And he's like, look, this is like the proof. And he's like, that's the war-torn Congo. That's not us, dog. And Trump's like, don't care. They gave me these papers prove it's true. Like, I don't think that Trump, like, he doesn't know. He doesn't understand the machinations of what makes a coal mine work. Like, Donald Trump is also aggressively ignorant. There is information surrounding the working of coal mines that he could actively pursue. And he is dodging that shit like fucking Superman does kryptonite, okay? Like, he does not want, I don't even know. Nope, I just know it produces all the energy. It's so amazing. They work without any type of maintenance. The man goes down, the energy comes up. It's kind of amazing.
The immigration rhetoric was precisely what you'd expect from a man who thinks compassion is a character flaw and cruelty is a leadership strategy. He stood there, in a building dedicated to international cooperation, in a city built by immigrants, in a nation that exists because of immigration, and declared that accepting refugees was destroying Western civilization. He cited prison statistics from European nations, 72% foreign nationals in Swiss prisons, without mentioning that Switzerland counts anyone without Swiss citizenship as foreign, including EU residents who've lived there for decades, or that the actual crime rate among immigrants is lower than among native-born citizens, or that his statistics were simply wrong. The description of Washington, D.C. as having transformed in 12 days from crime capital of America to a place where your wife can walk down the middle of the street with or without you and nothing's going to happen.
Rest in peace, pickleballs.
Would be hilarious if it weren't so sinister. The vision of women walking down the middle of streets, not sidewalks apparently, but the middle of streets.
He's kind of an old-timey person, you know, like the word groceries.
As a metric of urban safety, reveals a mind that thinks about cities the way a child thinks about dinosaurs, as exciting fantasies with no connection to reality. The claim that he'd removed 1,700 career criminals from DC in 12 days means he was arresting 141 people per day, which would be impressive if it were true, terrifying if it were true and they were actually criminals, and typically Trumpian in that it's neither true nor even plausibly false. It's just sounds that emerge from his mouth like methane from a swamp. But perhaps the most revealing moment came when he complained about the United Nations itself, launching into a bizarre reminiscence about bidding to renovate the UN building decades ago, promising marble...
Okay, all right. Now I know why Trump hates the UN. Okay. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Dude, he is the pettiest person that has ever lived. Donald Trump hates the UN because they didn't accept his bid. That's it, isn't it? This is seriously the dumbest fucking timeline that has ever existed. Oh my God. Get me off of this planet.
Floors instead of terrazzo, mahogany instead of plastic, still bitter after all these years that his offer was rejected. Here is a man so fundamentally narcissistic that he cannot address the United Nations without making it about a real estate deal he lost in the 1990s. He stood at the podium where Churchill spoke, where Mandela spoke, where Kennedy spoke, and he talked about floor surfaces and cost overruns like a contractor padding an invoice. The threat to Brazil was delivered with the diplomatic finesse of a mafia protection racket. Brazil is doing poorly and will continue to do poorly. They can only do well when they're working with us. Without us, they will fail. He mentioned meeting Brazil's leader for 39 seconds in the hallway, claiming they had excellent chemistry in those 39.
He's a narcissist. He thinks every interaction he has with people is amazing. He's like, man, that guy really liked me. You know, I didn't like him so much, but he really liked me.
9 seconds. Then immediately threatened his nation with destruction. This is diplomacy as understood by someone who learned about international relations from The Godfather, if The Godfather had been written by someone with traumatic brain injury. The section about Europe's green energy policies read like someone criticizing a diet while eating their 4th Big Mac of the day. Trump, whose understanding of energy policy extends to drill, baby, drill, warned European nations that wind farms were destroying their beautiful countryside while promoting coal, as if coal mines are known for their aesthetic enhancement of landscapes. He claimed Europe loses 175,000 people yearly to heat deaths because electricity is too expensive for air conditioning, a statistic he appears to have invented with the same creative process that...
I was like, where did he get those numbers from? Dude, and I said this the other day when we were talking about the transgender violence statistics that Edgier Than Thou, the person that made the debunking of the graph, when they were talking about the statistics and stuff and how this was all based off of 2 cases, and one of the cases the person wasn't even transgender, nor were they even non-binary. I was like, but it doesn't matter. Like, these people, they just hear the words that come out of Donald Trump's mouth. And look, I would like to sit here and tell you guys that the people that are listening to him, like, all of them are stupid. All of them are dumb. All of them are morons. But I know for a fact that certain people that I have either had relationships or former relationships with, family and friends, believe the shit that he says. And they're only like legit stupid when it comes to Donald Trump. And I think that's strictly because they recognize that this guy is going to do the most fucked up things that they've ever wanted a president to do. That he's going to follow through with all the dumbest shit that in their fucking brains they thought with their zero fucking experience were going to be great ideas that were going to save this country. You know, these are the men that tell women about abortion. These are the MAGA Trump supporter types that tell doctors about vaccines. These are the same people that tell scientists that have been studying the climate for 40 years that they watched a YouTube video or they saw Joe Rogan talk to a scientist and now they know more about it than the scientist does. These people generally, in my opinion, are fucking morons. But not always. And I do think that the reason that they do this is because he makes them feel smarter. And he makes them feel like he's going to do the things that they want. And they don't care if the dude lies. They don't care if he makes shit up. They just want to own the liberals. They just want to be on the winning team one fucking time in their entire lives. And they are willing to sell this fucking country down the river, burn it to a crisp for just feeling that deep, deep dopamine feeling of being right just fucking once. It's insane.
Gave us alternative facts, and truth isn't truth. Throughout it all, the delegates sat in what can only be described as traumatized silence, the kind of frozen disbelief you see on faces at the scene of an accident. Here was the American president talking about clean, beautiful coal, claiming to have stopped water drugs, boasting about sinking Venezuelan boats with military force, and declaring that he's really good at predicting things because he had a best-selling hat that said Trump was right about everything. It was like watching someone have a psychological breakdown while insisting they're giving a TED talk.
That's too spot on. That is too spot on. What if, guys? What if Trump is like a much dumber reincarnation of Nostradamus? Because they both obviously are suffering from edema. Well, Nostradamus not suffering so much from it. He died from it. Trump's currently dying from it. There's a connection to be made there. There's a connection to be made there.
The conclusion, where he asked everyone to fight, fight, fight for freedom, while having just threatened multiple nations with economic destruction for disagreeing with him, was the perfect ending to this theater of the absurd. He spoke of cherishing qualities that have made each of our nations so special, immediately after explaining why most of those nations were failing because they didn't do what he said. He called for defending free speech while threatening Brazil for allowing criticism of Americans. He praised sovereignty while demanding other nations adopt his policies or face tariffs. What we witnessed wasn't a speech but a symptom, not diplomacy but dementia, not leadership but the loud, confused ramblings of a man who mistakes volume for virtue and confidence for competence. The United Nations has heard from dictators.
Symbolism over substance. I've been saying it for fucking 3 years now. Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans are symbolism over substance every day of the week.
And Democrats, from revolutionaries and reactionaries, from the brilliant and the banal. But it had never before hosted someone who combined the intellectual capacity of a concussed goldfish with the diplomatic skills of a bar fight and the oratorical elegance of a seizure. This was America presenting itself to the world not as a superpower, but as a supervised patient, not as a leader, but as a liability, not as a nation, but as a nightmare from which we're all trying to wake. The assembled diplomats will return to their capitals with tales of the day the American president stood before the world and proved beyond any reasonable doubt that democracy's greatest weakness is that it occasionally produces leaders who make autocracy look tempting by comparison. They witnessed history. The moment American exceptionalism finally meant something, though not what Americans think it means. It means exceptionally degraded, exceptionally delusional, and exceptionally dangerous to the concept that humans are capable of governing themselves. The teleprompter, it turns out, was working fine. It was the president that was broken. But unlike the teleprompter, nobody knows how to fix him. And unlike the escalator that stopped halfway up, he managed to make it all the way to the podium to deliver this masterpiece of diplomatic vandalism. The United Nations has survived world wars, cold wars, and countless crises. Whether it can survive Donald Trump remains to be seen, though if his speech is any indication, the greater question is whether Donald Trump can survive Donald Trump, and whether America can survive being represented by someone who makes Caligula look stable and Nero look competent.
That is actually pretty fucking amazing, to be honest with you. Like I said, this guy's going to come and take my job. AI Christopher Hitchens is going to take my job. But you know what? He can have my job if he can do that. That was amazing. That was amazing. Wow. Like I said, there are things that we've gotten from this, right? There are things that we've gotten from this predicament that we've been in. And a lot of it has been the fact that we've, found things, found people that maybe we wouldn't have before. I would like to take it down a notch, the fascism, the authoritarianism, the fear of dictatorship right now. But if we come out of this on the other side, A, we're stronger. B, we got to experience the dictatorship firsthand, so we know what we don't want, okay? And C, we get to bring the friends we made along the way with us, all right? Like, if we can get back to some semblance of sanity in this country, I feel like this is exactly what happened with Biden, right? Because we all just fucking dealt with 4 years, and that was like Trump light. This is like Trump on steroids, dying of edema, mentally declining. I feel like if we can get through all this shit and come out the other end of this, and AI doesn't completely destroy us, and Trump doesn't completely destroy us, and the techno-oligarchs don't completely destroy us. There's a lot of people trying to destroy us currently in this environment. If MAGA doesn't go fucking full mental illness, melt down, and burn down the country, if all of these things do not happen, and we come out the other side of this, I think we got a pretty good chance of having a good life, guys. It feels that way. So we're gonna know some new podcasters, some new music we came across. We got a lot of material for jokes for who knows how long. If we can come out the other side of this, the amount of jokes from this period moving forward, the amount of emotional trauma that we have endured can only lead, guys, to great comedy. That's where I'm at with this. At least we got a UFC fight on the lawn of the White House out of it. Dude, I just saw... This is how stupid this timeline is. Oh my God, this is how stupid this timeline is. I was just saying this, that when I was talking to a guy at my work, we were talking about, I enjoyed the Crawford-Canelo fight because it was a fight between two older guys that still had enough in the tank to put out a pretty good boxing match. It wasn't what most people, I think, would call an entertaining fight because Crawford was generally a smaller guy and he was trying not to get hit by Canelo and knocked out, right? But Crawford fought a beautiful boxing match, and he won that boxing match by far. But both men are like 41, 38 and 41, I think is how old they were. And that brought up the topic of why is the UFC not as good as it used to be? Why is boxing not as good as it used to be? And it's just one more indicator of how stupid the society has become. And that is Paul versus Tyson will drag millions of people away from whatever they're being distracted by to watch Mike Tyson potentially knock out Paul. And of course, what do you get from it? Nothing. It was boring. It sucked. Really, we were all a part of elderly abuse, to be honest. And we all sat there thinking, this is going to be good. Why? Why did we think that? Because of name recognition. So there's actually like a lot of really good boxers for anybody that is a boxing fan in lower levels or they're coming up that are really good boxers. In fact, there is a boxing match between an Irish gentleman and Fernando Vargas Jr. right before the Canelo fight. That was actually a really good fight, and they're both really good fighters. They're both undefeated. Vargas Jr. lost that fight, so he has one loss on his record now. But they're both great up-and-coming boxers. But nobody gives a shit about them because there's no name recognition. Even when it comes to this UFC fight that's going to happen on the lawn, it's going to be booty. Why is it going to be booty, Redonk? Why is it going to be booty? You know why it's going to be booty. I'm going to drink my drink here to give you a second to catch up. It's going to be booty because they're going to drag a bunch of old-ass people who can't fight anymore out on the lawn. He's going to have the worst fucking fights you've ever seen in your life. And meanwhile, the country's burning down around it. I just saw the other day, Daniel Cormier was saying that he wants to fight John Jones at this event. Fuck no. I don't want to see that played out again. Those fights weren't that good in the first place. I saw that they tried to get Ronda Rousey, and thank fucking God. I never knew that I would like Ronda Rousey again. And I was kind of mean for not liking Ronda Rousey in the first place because I was an underdog person. I liked seeing people beat the people who the UFC put on a pedestal. So I was wrong for hating Ronda Rousey in the first place. But I doubled down on how wrong I was the other day when Ronda Rousey said, fuck no, I don't want to fight at the White House. I have better shit to do. And I was like, God damn it, Ronda. You're so back. You're so back. Yeah, exactly. Bad lineup, Redonk. Yep. Tiago versus Shamrock. Exactly. Exactly. They got Don Fry. Redonk. You're doing the thing. This is what I'm saying. Is don't fucking say that too loudly, because Don Fry 100% would fight if they gave him a chance, and he would probably die of emphysema in front of all of us. And fucking this America right now would be like, oh, fuck yeah. A guy died. An old guy died. That was amazing. That's how dumb our society has gotten. And we like to talk about boxing and martial arts and stuff as though it's somebody else's fault that it's this stupid. But just like the reason that America is this stupid, it's actually our fault. At least those of us that participate in this stupidity. Because there are so many good fighters out there that don't have name recognition that you could watch them fight. Khamzat Chimaev actually might fight at the White House, right? Khamzat is a great fighter. Not a lot of people know who the fuck Khamzat is. There were two dudes the other day that had a great fight. Redonk sent me another one from WEC. Great fight. Boxing matches. A lot of prelims. Really good. But what do people want to see? They want to see Tank Davis fighting Jake Paul. A guy that literally weighs 50 pounds more than Tank Davis. That has probably like 6 or 8 inches of reach. It's stupid. I don't want to see Oscar De La Hoya being brought out of retirement to fight a YouTuber. This is the problem with this society. Is we want to be entertained, but we don't even know what is entertaining anymore. Silent, you know who Ronda Rousey is? Katniss. Ronda Rousey was kind of a Katniss, to be honest. He might be dead already. Yeah, we don't know. We don't actually know whether or not he's dead. Kimbo Slice is definitely dead, dude. I'm pretty sure Kimbo is dead. Kimbo Slice. Dude, you want to talk about fucking name recognition resulting in one of the worst fights that you have ever seen in your life? Who was the guy that was super popular in that strike? Was it Strike Force? Was it Strike Force? The guy that Kimbo Slice fought. And they were going to fight, and it was going to be such a good fight. These two guys, they throw bombs. And then they literally just hugged each other the whole time because they gassed after about 20 seconds. This is the problem. This is the problem. Chuck Liddell. Have you seen Chuck Liddell lately? Chuck Liddell has gone full white trash. Chuck Liddell looks like Tank Abbott now, actually. Hogan! Hogan on the front lawn! Oh, fuck, that'd be amazing. Oh, God. Because it wouldn't work. It'll be Lesnar. No, Dark Cash. That's actually a good call. Lesnar will definitely be on the card. Yeah, Pikey fights. Have you guys ever seen Knuckle? If you guys, one of my favorite movies of all time favorite movies, is Snatch with Brad Pitt. Fucking amazing movie. Cinematically brilliant. Great cast of characters. Dope storyline. Entertaining. Fucking amazing movie, right? Super funny. But that movie is based off of a documentary called Knuckle. And it's about Irish people that would set up fights on back roads and record them back in the day on like VHS tapes. It's amazing. It's amazing. You should watch it. Maybe I just enjoyed it because of my Irish heritage and my love for bare knuckle boxing. It's going to pass. Dude, there you go, Redonk. Holy shit, what about Homelander? Siren. Homelander. Oh, God, you guys are making me cry. That is amazing. It's going to be past UFC stars fighting with Elon's robots. Dude, Don Fry. I think Don Fry could take a robot. I think he could. You got about 25 seconds before his emphysema kicks in. I think Don Fry could punch a robot with his bare hands, and I bet his bones would not break. I bet he would smush. He would smash. He would Hulk smash a robot, 100%. I too, Sean, have an Irish temper. Thus the reason the name is Angry Ginger. The Deep. Oh, The Deep. How many people in this chat watch The Boys? The Boys is one of the greatest shows that has ever been made. By far. By far. One of the best shows that ever been made. See, there's good things. There's good things. The last season, not as great as I thought the other seasons were, but you can't just be putting out bangers all the time, okay, unless you're Mr. Beast, all right? Unless you're out there curing fucking blindness and giving fucking poor people water and shit like that, like, you can't put out bangers all the time, all right? Last season did end pretty good, but it was a bit meh. It was a bit meh compared to the other three. I was just saying that about Bill Burr the other day. When you're watching Bill Burr, when you watch his first 4 or 5 stand-ups, that's fucking greatness. It's amazing. You watch the last Bill Burr and you're like, what is this? What is this slop, Bill? What is this slop? It was still pretty good. I thought he was still funny. But he's turning into an old angry ginger that took mushrooms. Yeah, you like that? Somebody gave me shit. Some Trump supporter said, look at this guy. He's got to have his ethnicity on his shirt because he's that dumb. And I was like, brother, it says Irish drinking team on it. I know you can't read. I know you can't read. Conor McGregor would SA the robot, Mitchell. Conor McGregor, the fight would fucking last like probably like 3 minutes before Conor McGregor stepped back on those old man ankles and broke his fucking ankle again like he did in the Poirier fight. And then like afterwards, he would fucking receive a subpoena to a court case that he essayed the robot. That's where I'm going with that. Conor McGregor is one of the greatest fucking disappointments that has ever happened in the UFC. Like, if you think about Conor McGregor's story, the dude was like a plumber. He literally said when he was like 19 years old, I'm going to be a UFC champion. And then he ran a fucking gauntlet of knocking out some of the best fighters in the fucking sport. When he knocked out Jose Aldo in like 13 seconds or minute and 13 or whatever it was, when he knocked him out, that was the climax to one of the best UFC stories that could ever be written. And he was legit one of the hardest punching fucking dudes in the sport. And just the narcissism and the cocaine. Also the cocaine. Probably mostly the cocaine. He just dove right off the fucking deep end, dude. Right off the deep end. Hey, you're fighting him on. You like digs? You like digs? Oh, dude, the reason I love Bill Burr is because he destroyed Philadelphia. This is what I'm saying. This is why when MAGA's like, these liberals and their thin skin, I'm like, you guys are actually the thin skin people. Because I make fun of MAGA and they cry like bitches. Dude, one of the reasons I love Bill Burr is because of that fucking stand-up where he came out. What were they doing? They were like doing a marathon, right? It was like a festival. And they booed and heckled the guy before him. And Bill Burr absolutely fucking roasted. Made fun of Philly so hard. But you guys got a statue? You got a statue of fucking Rocky? You got fucking Rocky? Like he's not even a boxer. You guys had fucking Joe fucking Frazier. You don't have a statue of him, but you got a fucking statue of Rocky? Are you fucking kidding me? It's so amazing. I actually have a video. What video is that? One of my older videos has that in it, actually. Has a clip of that in it. God, it was amazing. Feud between him and Khabib. God, and he got his... Khabib, that's actually what changed him, Mitchell. The CTE from getting fucking wrecked by Khabib. All right, I get to sit up here. I literally... See, this is what I said. During a different timeline that wasn't this stupid, guys... If we were in a different timeline that wasn't this stupid, you know what I'd sit up here and do with you guys? I'd talk about books. I'd talk about movies. I'd talk about music. I'd talk about fucking fighting, boxing, UFC. So many different things. Instead, I'm stuck up here talking about the dumbest fucking man that has ever existed that became the president of the United States. And this is how far we've gone, guys. This is how far we've gone. Tim Dillon's doing a good job. So we're going to do something we don't usually do. We're going to watch a little bit of the conservative point of view. I watch a lot of conservative stuff. Video games. Thank you, Dark Cash. Thank you. Expedition 33. Good game. Ending. Not so great. Not to spoil it for anybody. Not as great as I wanted it to be. Great game, though. Expedition 33. Great game. Great game. Storyline. Pretty dope. Ending. Meh. Kind of meh. Peacemaker? Is that the one with John Cena? I should check that out. It looks like it'd be funny. So this is Tim Dillon, and I watch a lot of stuff off stream that's conservative because, like I said before, I like to have kind of a little bit of an idea of what people are thinking outside of the echo chamber. And as I've said before, I don't disagree with everybody on everything. You know, there are things that people say about the left that I do agree with. I think that the left's greatest strength and weakness is its ability to self-analyze. It's very important. So I spend a lot of time looking at things that a lot of people wouldn't agree with. I think that Tim Dillon has been one of the people, being a comedian, that has talked a mad amount of shit about Elon Musk and billionaires, much like our boy Bill Burr does, and has been pretty fucking spot on with a lot of that stuff. So I haven't actually watched this. Redonk, you have to go to work? You're leaving during the best part, Redonk. This is your part right here. So, books like an iPad from trees. Mitchell. All right, have a good night at work, Redonk. All right, so let's watch Tim Dillon. You'll own nothing and be happy talking shit about Republicans, or I'm sorry, about billionaires that also happen to be Republican.
When these billionaires are telling you don't need to own a house, it's not just that they don't think it's a good financial investment. Their interests are not served by you having block parties and seeing other people. They'd rather you live in a cell where people bring you Thai food and you watch YouTube videos about people or reality shows about people that do have homes.
Yeah, because I've said it before, right? They don't want you around. I've said this about Trump a bunch of times now, is you are, when I'm saying you, I mean MAGA Republicans. MAGA Republicans are the shit that Donald Trump steps in on his golf course, and he doesn't even stop to wipe you off. He does not notice you. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't know that you exist. He walks until he finds a servant, and then he makes them wipe that shit off his shoe. Because he doesn't like you. He doesn't want to see you. He doesn't want to smell you. All these videos of him shaking your hand, that's only because it gets him what he wants. And that is not specific to Donald Trump. That is the billionaire class in general. Now, being a person that lives on a nice piece of property, my neighbors are pretty far away. And I'm a high neighbor person. That means when I see you, I go, hey, neighbor. And then I walk into my house because I'm not stopping to talk to you. I don't want to find out that you're a Trump supporter. I don't want to know about the things that are going bad right now in your life. I have enough drama. I don't need your drama as well. I'm a high neighbor person. So I completely understand wanting distance between people. But the difference between me and a bunch of shitty billionaires is that I still care about you. Even though hey neighbor, if I find out your mom died of cancer, I'm like, that's fucked up. Sorry to hear that. If your dog's lost, I'll help you find it, or I'll ask my wife to do it. She's pretty good. I do care that your life is a good life. I just don't want to hear your opinions on whether or not the Eagles are going to have a good season this year or not. That's information that I share only with my select few people that I love, you guys. The thing about billionaires is they don't want you on their fucking lawn. They don't want to smell you. They don't want to hear your opinions on their lifestyle. They have more money than God, and they think that buys them the right to say to you that you're lucky that you even get to exist. He's fucking spot on with that.
That's what people do. People in Los Angeles go to their cell on top of a P.F. Chang's, eat those lettuce wraps, which are good, and then watch reality shows about...
Bro, that's so us. That's so us right there. We're like, but the lettuce wraps aren't bad. To be honest, they're pretty good.
People that can afford to have a home. That's pornography now. You come thinking about having a place to see your friends. They don't want you to have any friends. They don't want communities.
Yeah.
It's the hollowing out of the entire thing that serves their purposes. And the only thing left is the bread and circuses and the Kimmels and the this
100%.
and the that. It's the
100%.
only thing left.
Bread and circus.
And you're radicalized easily one way or the other, and they're pulling strings because you have less and less of your own shit. You don't have a...
And the funny thing about what he's saying right here is that when I engage with people that I know are conservative in real life, usually they know that I know enough about the subjects to be able to dispute anything that they say, and they avoid those topics. And in some ways, in like an etiquette manner, I attempt to avoid those topics as well, because I know that if we get into a discussion on those topics, that's going to lead to them being very upset with the interaction. And I know that that's not necessary at that time, and I know that I'm not also going to change their mind, so there is no benefit to it. And I think that we've always lived in a society where we understood that there's certain things that we're just not going to agree on. The problem is now that the polarization comes with an extra spicy element, and that's called dictatorship. So what we're having a problem with now is this idea of, say, people like myself and Tim Dillon here. We would probably agree on a lot of things, but then we would get to a certain point where we'd have to cross this boundary where we'd have to talk about whether or not what is currently going on is a dictatorship or fascism, and whether or not it's appropriate to call it out for what it is. And at that point, that's when we divulge, right? And there's a very good point that's being made by many people in content creation on the left and on the right. And that is that polarization in our society has pushed us further and further apart, and it has made us easier and easier to control and take away from us the very little that we have by billionaires. And that's a very interesting conundrum, because it's how do we come together? Now, obviously, being a person that's empathetic, that thinks that the way that immigrants are being treated, the way that LGBT people are being treated, which, by the way, Tim Dillon is gay, that's not right. There is a hard line that I'm not willing to cross, where I'm willing to say, hey, what this guy's doing is okay. No, of course it's not fucking okay. And until we get to that point, we're going to find ourselves in this really weird dystopian type scenario where we are separated from each other, intentionally so, both by us and by them, because A, we don't want to have a conversation with somebody that's going to legit say to you that it's okay to snatch somebody's fucking Mima off the street that's been here for 40 years. A dude with a fucking mask on is allowed to deport her with no due process. There are certain things that until we answer these really fucking hard questions in this society, there is no fixing this. And it's going to come to a very bad place before it does if people don't realize that. If you are a MAGA Republican and you want to find some type of ability to talk to the people around you and discuss these things in any manner that even resembles a good conversation, you're going to have to recognize that you're on the wrong side of history. If you can't admit that snatching people off the street and deporting them without due process is not okay, if you can't say that, if you can't say that what Donald Trump is doing, by the way that he's attacking people, even people that I don't give a shit if he does, like Comey or even Cohen before him, those are people that I don't care about, yet I still say they shouldn't be attacked in this manner. If you can't get to a point where you admit that those things are bad, then we're never going to fucking heal from this, and we're never going to be able to fight on the same side against the people that we should legit actually be fighting against. And those are the people that are in power, in control, that are harming children, and that are taking away the future of the generations that we fucking brought up, that we want to see do well. My children, your friends' children. There's a long way to go.
Community. You live in some global world where every single thing is the most important thing. And then you go online and go,
yep,
my take,
and we're all experts. This is one of the things that, it wasn't Aristotle. Who was it that said, the only thing that I know is that I don't know anything? Socrates? I believe that was Socrates. I think I got it. And that's me. It's when I speak about climate change, I'm generally saying these are the things from these scientists and stuff that I've read. It's best to go look at the things that they believe. I'm going to try to do my best to disseminate what they say, right? But it's always best to always have some type of expert to look towards, right? If I want to talk about philosophy, I want to talk about Aristotle. I want to talk about Socrates. I want to talk about Plato, Demosthenes. I can't say that guy's name. Dionysus? No, it's not Dionysus. How the fuck do I say? The guy that was fucking drinking out of a dog bowl. That lived in squalor because he believed simplicity was best. I want to talk about those people. If I want to talk about politics, George Washington, not a great human being, owned people, used slaves' teeth. What was the father of the father of the American Revolution for the most part. But if we want to talk about politics, George Washington was probably 100% the best politician that you can even like talk about, right? He was fucking amazing at politics. Absolute ass general, by the way, but great with politics. If I want to talk about, like I said, mental health earlier, I want to talk about like Dr. K. Like if I want to talk about vaccines, you're not going to, I'm not going to talk about me. I'm going to talk about like Peter Hotez, who's a vaccine scientist. If I want to talk about social psychology, I'm going to talk about Jonathan Haidt. I do not know enough about all of these varied topics to feel comfortable to sit in front of you guys. And you guys, you know, for all I know, you're a bunch of 11-year-olds that fucking don't know anything about anything, right? But even with that in mind, I don't want to sit up here and think that I know so much about all of these topics that I am the expert on any given situation. And that is a real fucking problem in our societies right now, is that if there's a war in a different country, everybody's a fucking expert on it. If there's a vaccine that comes out, everybody's an expert on it. If there's a disease making its rounds around the country, everybody's an expert on it. And that's fucking insane. You're lucky if at any point in your life you get so fucking good that people look to you for information or advice on a single subject. Like the place that I feel probably the best, talking about groceries. I have 20 years of experience in the grocery industry. If you want to talk about groceries, I feel real fucking good. If you want to talk about running a business, I've been in management and leadership for almost 20 years, or over 20 years. I feel good about those things. I can talk to you about those things. I can talk to you even in a way that like parallels other things like military leadership, because some of those things do cross over. But it's a real problem in our society that every single person thinks that they're an expert on all of these things.
You're supposed to care about shit that's like in a 10-block radius of where you live. You're not supposed to be involved in the Middle East. You're not supposed to be funding a real estate project in a place you've never been, in Gaza. It's not natural. It's insane. You're just not supposed to do that. You're supposed to care about things. You're supposed to know who got murdered 2 blocks away. Why did that person get murdered? You're supposed to know that. You're supposed to be interested in the crime in your area. Why? Because you live there.
Yeah, it matters.
But now that there doesn't exist. It's malls and cupcake ATMs. It's fucking, private equity companies that build,
we can talk about private
mega
equity
structures that look like storage lockers, and you just sit there and get mad all day on the internet, and you don't know your neighbors, and you don't care if they get murdered. In fact, you might want them to. You have no stake in the game. And all of this isn't new, and it's being expedited at a level I've never seen.
He's looking for accelerationism. That is, in all of these like extreme ideologies, accelerationism is always one of the core tenets.
It has never been more obvious that they are trying to get rid of human beings and human relationships and human communities at an incredibly fast clip.
And here's, this is where I'll diverge. And I've said this to both family members and friends that are more on the conspiratorial tilt, this is where I diverge. I don't think that they're trying to get rid of human beings. I think that human beings being eliminated is a byproduct of capitalism. I think that in each of these places, I tried to say this over and over and over again to a friend of mine, we don't disagree. The billionaires are bad people. People in power that use their power for the wrong reasons or use it to enrich themselves are bad people. The place that we diverged and we could never come together on was that person thought it's all just to kill people. And I thought, no, the people dying is just a byproduct of our obsession with money, with wealth, with status and connections. Really, people dying is in many ways beneficial to them continuing to keep that wealth. So I can see how you would make that assumption that is true. But I actually don't think that they're doing it in some nefarious way to make it happen. I think that when you talk about pharmaceutical companies, when you talk about oil companies, when you talk about people that obfuscate, like doctors that give prescriptions of pills out to people that create opioid crisis, and then they go, well, it's just, I was doing my job. It's not my fault. It's Big Pharma's fault. I think every one of those people, there's always something that's central to their ideology, and that is they want money. And yeah, they don't want you living super long on your pension. That's one of the biggest problems with society right now as far as economically going, is that all these people that are boomers, that are Gen X, participate in these pension programs, and now those pension programs are like running these places dry, and then private equity is actually getting a hold of these pension programs, and then they're milking them dry, and then these pensioners don't have any money. Like, it all becomes, an issue with society. And on both sides of the spectrum, whether it's old people that are living off pensions or just people in general that are impoverished, both sides definitely do in some way vampire off of what billionaires see as being their money, right? Like, they're like, those people are taking resources, because money is resources, that I could have. So I'm not saying that them dying isn't part of the plan. I'm saying that it's a consequence of it, and they're accepting of that consequence. Now, if that consequence didn't happen and people tended to live longer and be healthier, I would probably be more likely to say, oh yeah, they're intentionally now trying to cause this to happen.
Behavior puzzles them. Sam Altman doesn't know what humans
do. Sorry,
Tinkerbell. Sam Altman's confused by human behavior. He doesn't get it. He finds it inefficient and messy. It perplexes him. Okay? This is, and allegedly, that guy that worked for him died in a real weird way. Okay? And Sam Altman, when Tucker pressed him about that, acted like I did when my doctor asked me if I went to McDonald's. So let's get real.
That we can all relate to that. And also, look, my son is neurodivergent. So I say this with all respect to neurodivergence. My son is an Aspie. There's a lot of these people, whether it's Altman or Till or Musk, that look as though their parents did a really bad job of raising them in the society to deal with what makes them different, and did not help them to learn things like empathy and the importance of working within society and making life good for everybody around you. And I think that that's completely complicated by the fact that these people came into great wealth and status, and they don't know what the fuck they're supposed to be doing at this point. And so they're sitting around spinning their wheels. They're getting closer to dying. They have all of the resources that you possibly have. And as Obama said, 80% of the problems in this world are old men with wealth and power that are dying, that want to do something before they go that means something. And that's why I said, is like, a lot of the society right now feels like, and I'm talking about America in general, it feels like the last hand of poker, and you're just shoving all your chips to the middle, saying like, well, we'll probably end up actually winning, but we also might not, and if we don't, it's the end. And we're just going to be okay with that. But you're not taking into account that those chips that you have, that you push towards the middle, are actually owned by a bunch of other people that are like, yo, couldn't we do something a little safer?
Here, these people don't care.
Allegedly.
And they think human behavior is a problem. Cultural practices that they don't understand. They don't understand people going to church. They don't understand festivals and fairs. They don't understand people having a community where they exchange.
I don't know if he's watching that Peter Thiel, but I think he's wrong about the church thing. Peter Thiel is a Christian, right? Gay Christian, right? I think that actually they hyperfixate on some of the things about church. I think he's wrong about that for sure.
Goods and services in physical locations. They don't understand people that care. Their job is to make you terrified and broke. They want you on the Citizen app. They don't want another person telling you, hear what happened to Bob? They don't want that.
Yeah, they want drones. They want workers.
Interaction happen.
They just look at us as resources.
They want you on the Citizen app all day, hearing about crime that you don't care about because your communities aren't tight-knit communities where people know and care about each other. They're strange corporate hellscapes filled with like part-time residents and they've turned every city in this country into a foreign Dubai like Disney Wonderland where people can launder money and then take a bunch of laundered drug money and go buy Labubu smoothies at Erewhon. They don't want any.
And I'll disagree with that too. Is that I think the real problem is that it's not just billionaires. It's that, like I've said before, the true American experiment was never to see if, we could put together this melting pot of immigrants and see how far we could take it. Or even if it ever was that, it was only that at the beginning, which I don't think it was at the beginning either. But truly, everything about our society screams capitalism. And even what he's talking about that there screams capitalism. And I think a lot of people, like libertarians and stuff, would freak the fuck out. They're like, no, that's crony capitalism. It doesn't matter. It's capitalism. These are the divergent paths of capitalism. It's what it leads to when you don't have anything within your government that speaks to humanity, that talks about like how important it is to just live and be a human being and not every day of your life worry about whether or not you make enough money. Like when I do this YouTube channel, right? One of the reasons I get to be who I am and be the way I am is that I'm never worried about the amount of money that I make off of YouTube. So I get to say the things I want. I get to speak freely. I get to put out content in any way that I feel like I want to do it. So it can become very enjoyable for me. But the only reason I get to do that is because I have money from my other endeavors that lead me to be able to have that type of freedom. And here in this country, by the way, that money barely makes it. And I make a pretty good amount of money from my job. And I have a home. I bought my home. I own my vehicles. I don't have any debt. With all of that being said, I'm still constantly under the pressure of potentially being one health scare away from losing everything I have, right? I'm fully aware of that. But it allows me to be able to do things like this more like it's a hobby, like it's something I want to do, something that I enjoy being a part of. And our problem in our society, when we talk about like even the way our cities are set up, they're all set up in industrial manners. Nothing about it brings happiness. When you go to other countries, you get to go places and you get to see their architecture and you get to see like their history and their culture is fun. And here, our culture is get up and go to work. Like American culture is go to work 9 to 5. There is no American dream left. We used to have some type of a little bit of something, right? Like you might own a home with a white picket fence and a car, in the 50s. But really, that was like kind of a mirage. It was kind of an illusion. It didn't really exist. At least it didn't exist in the realm of physicality, right? Like it wasn't going to be there forever. And that's what we're recognizing now, is that we've all worked our asses off. We've all spent like our entire lives pushing to achieve something that has been stolen from us by people that already have enough. And they're going to continue to make it worse and worse and worse. Because there's nothing in this society that they want to make better or nicer or more engaging. They don't want to bring people together. Like one of the things that we're clearly missing from our societies are youth centers. We miss this opportunity when it comes to talking about the alleged shooters, whether or not they're real or not. That's a whole nother question. Now I'm becoming a conspiracy theorist, but of Charlie Kirk or of the ICE agents or of others. If they are real in the way that the backgrounds of these people are legit, then you must accept that a commonality amongst these young men is that they have no bond to society. They have no hope. They have no dreams. They have no context in which they feel important or they can like link their personality to something, right? Like a career or a relationship or a community. And we need to find our way into a place where we have given our young people an ability to congregate, ability to find connection, ability to not just always look to technology as some type of crutch to get us through our lives until we finally just fucking die and shit ourselves. Because that's nothing to hope for. That's nothing to want. Like, history is very important to me, and I love it because it's so engaging. There's so much to learn from it. It's pretty. If you get what I'm saying, if you know how I feel about this, it's pretty to look at history, even the bad things, because you see the texture, the way it's changed things, the way it influences the past, the present, and the future. And we're missing all of these things, and we're avoiding talking about them because they're all really hard things to talk about. So I once again disagree when he says that, like, we're turning these into these Dubai-esque cities, maybe for those people, but not for the people down on the bottom. The people down on the bottom are struggling in boxes that are gray, that are concrete, that are ugly, that are abrasive, that are frictious. And it's leading to attitudes and personalities that resemble the environment that they work and they reside in.
Anything resembling life, it's obvious they don't want anything resembling human life. You're supposed to just walk around and participate in some viral scam. That's the only reason you exist to these people. The only reason you exist to Sam Altman is so that he can monitor you in some way and that you can take part, wittingly or unwittingly, in some viral scam that someone's cooked up.
But the scam is you are the resource. I mean, we've seen this in dystopian literature forever. You are the resource. That is the scam, is that you're not supposed to be aware of the fact that these people don't look at you as human beings, but look at you as resources. As a person that's worked as a manager for years and years and years and years, this environment that you're working in is generally one where a single person is benefiting while everybody else works incredibly hard. I'm lucky enough that right now where I work, in the place that I've been for 20 years, that's not the case. And I can tell you that generally you come out with better outcomes as far as like how people feel in the environment you work in, and even the product that you produce and the people that consume it. All of it is so much better when you take care of each other. And the scam that he's talking about, and I don't know if he'll get to it at some point or if he even understands the point that he's trying to make here, is that you are the resource, and if you are not an efficient resource, then you are not something that they want to exist within their bubble. They would rather you either go somewhere and die or just go somewhere and be quiet, whatever it is, just don't be in their bubble.
That you can buy some food item or little critter.
Exactly.
Or
Etch said it.
Cryptocurrency that someone is hawking. That is the sum total of your humanity to these people. Why buy a house? You don't need a house. What a bad investment. What does that word even mean? Investment? What are you talking about? You know what's a really good investment? Sitting there with 7 people in your backyard having dinner and talking about life. They don't want it. It's
and you see that? Like, me and him are going to disagree on a lot of things politically, but when it comes to the human element, we agree 100%. Like, there's a thing about memories, that memories are created from a chemical that is induced only in times when you feel like emotionally like high, right? Like, so either your fear is way up there, or your happiness is way up there, or your sadness is way up there. At those points, those memories are pretty much etched like an engraving in your brain, right? And the way you create those things is through these different contexts, different environments, different situations. And if you never create those memories, if you never have these experiences, you're never going to have memories that feel like they have fulfilled your life. And so I've said this a lot, and I think I even took this from somebody like Jordan Peterson, right? Is that physical things, cars, video game, whatever. Like video games is probably a bad example. Actually, any of those examples could be used in a way to create a better that could be created in memory. Things that don't mean anything to you, but you buy them because you think you should. Those things are not worth half as much or even a tenth as much as having an experience. So like going somewhere where you get to see something like that's of historical value, or learning things and becoming better educated and better skilled at something. Those have an ability to create something that later in life you can fall back on as to, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Whereas like that thing you bought off impulse, the fucking, teddy bear or the coffee cup or the cactus, it's like those things probably aren't going to lead to any type of long-term gratification. And that's very important to understand.
Threat to them. It's actually a big problem. So
I'm not sure about endorphins, whether or not it's endorphins.
A tremendous
I
clip.
forgot what the actual chemical was called.
It's the frequency of which this is happening, how quickly it's happening. Everywhere. It's not just any one thing. It's architecture. It's business.
Oh, look at
it's
this.
Political. It's
We're
cultural. But really, at the end of the day, it's all of these things working together to take you out of the world and put you on the internet, where they want you to live. You're a view. You're an anonymous source of data. You're something to be marketed or terrified, but they don't consider you a person with inalienable rights. They don't consider you in any form of reflection.
Well, I think the most important part is that you're out of their hair. That's what I think is more important to these people than anything, is they want you to get up, go to work, build the robot so Elon has friends, and then go home and don't leave your house, don't form connection, don't form groups and unions. They want you to just be by yourself, being enraged, being baited, being upset, so that way you never have the chance to create connections with other people. One of the things I've tried to do consistently with this channel is just build community, right? Like I've told you guys before, I'm not interested, when everybody else is talking about Charlie Kirk and all that other shit, I want to talk about the things that matter, right? And one of the reasons I'm doing that is because I've never invested in the idea of wanting views. I've always invested in wanting people. I've always wanted to create a community, and I think that I've been pretty successful in this, of human beings that can accept that I'm a flawed human being, that I will say things that are wrong, that I make mistakes, and that also can talk to each other and chat, that can do those things. So that way we can build a community that in some way mimics the things that we are missing out on in real life. And I don't think that I should substitute for that, because I do think, as I've told you guys before, or I tell you guys at the end of streams, is you still should go out, you should still touch grass. My kids are involved in sports. My kids are involved in music. My kids are academically skilled. All of those things are very important because they need to still have this ability to exist outside, but also they should take advantage of the fact that they can also still have community and such when they're also at home. Because I do think the connection from things like the telephone, Discord, the internet, social media are very good things. But I think that they're misused. I think they're abused. And I think that in many ways, they're just like any substance like alcohol or tobacco or drugs, that they're highly addictive. And so as everything for me, it is about balance. It is about saying to yourself, when I am on the internet, I am going to have interactions that are good for me, not bad for me. And then when I go out into society, I am going to actively try to engage once again in relationships with other people that are good for me and not bad for me. And then if you can live this life of balance between the two, you don't have this problem that we currently have in this society, and that is this extreme disconnect once you leave the internet, because you're no longer the troll. You're no longer the guy that goes into the chat and makes people cry. When you leave your house, now you have no significance like you did while you're on the internet. And once again, I think that's why it works so well for me, is because my significance isn't tied to being a YouTube content creator. My significance is tied to the real life impact I have on people that work in the business that I manage.
Of God or greater intelligence outside of the thing that they're going to create.
Yep, bread and circuses.
They consider you an obstacle, and that the way you live is an obstacle to their ultimate goals. That's what they consider you. You are something that's in the way. Your football game and your a couple of beers outside, or you invite people over to your home, your family, your faith, your community, your culture, your all of this to them. And I don't care if it's liberal or conservative. I don't care if you're a fundamentalist Christian. I don't care if you're Jewish, Muslim. I don't care if you're an atheist. I don't care if you do the winter solstice. They don't either. Their entire thing is to get rid of physical communities that are based around these things and usher people into a digital landscape.
Yeah, I don't think he's
by
wrong
telling them not to own houses, not to drive cars, not to own things, to use ride shares, to be on the internet, to live in a cell, and to be happy. It is what it is. You'll own nothing and be happy. It's a famous article. We all bring it up. But it's true. And what Jimmy Kimmel says at the end of the day doesn't really affect your life in the way that you think it does. He should have a right to say it. He should be criticized for saying it. People should attack him on the facts, not physically. You should attack the facts because they weren't present in what he said. Okay?
And this is where I will hardcore disagree with him. But we'll just let that go. I don't need to tell you guys why I think he's wrong, because you guys think he's wrong for the same exact reason.
There's something bigger going on, and everyone feels it, and it worries me that other people don't. There's something bigger going on all over the country, and it's not about Jimmy Kimmel, and it's not really about left versus right. It's about this inertia that's moving humanity into a perpetual state of constant war, depression, anxiety, anger. I'm not proselytizing. I'm not.
No, that's mass psychosis that he's talking about right there. And mass psychosis, like I've said this before on this channel, is mass psychosis started with MAGA, but they're trying to do it to the left now. That's why I always advise to turn off. It's why I always advise you should, when you're on social media, if you happen to be on social media a lot, you should click on funny videos. You should click on funny memes. And I'm not talking about things that just make fun of Trump. I'm talking about cat videos. I'm talking about jokes. I'm talking about comedians. Because the more that you do things like that, the more you fight against this mass psychosis. Because mass psychosis is an attempt to make you more controllable, easier to manipulate, and easier to monitor. As actually Jeannie just said, digital communication can be monitored. That's 100% true. They want you in a place where they can get you to see, or they can see what you're doing. And that's it's so important to recognize that what's going on right now is that this doesn't need to be some type of conspiracy theory idea of chemicals in the water or microchips in your brain. Instead, it's a much more understandable thing, and that is that they're using psychology to manipulate you in a way that makes you easier to control, that makes you a more efficient and helpful part of the machine. And if you don't want that to be that way, then you have to actively push back against it.
Telling you to do this or do that. I'm not saying to you that you can only find meaning in life one way. I believe there's many ways to find meaning in life. However,
cat videos are why I pay
it's
for
clearly
exactly,
obvious
Edge.
That the
Exactly,
algorithms
Edge.
are manipulating us to hate each other and kill each other, while everyone...
If you don't know this about YouTube, because he's making a really good point there about the algorithm. If you don't know this about YouTube, look at your homepage when you click it. The majority of stuff on your homepage generally aren't people that you're subscribed to. They're people that you've clicked content to, right? So let's say you're a purely political person and you only subscribe to political people. But then when you're doing stuff on YouTube and you're looking at stuff, you generally actually click guitar videos, learning how to play guitar. Then the majority of the videos that you see on your homepage are all going to be guitar videos, even though you've never subscribed to any of those people, because they have a separate portion of your YouTube feed where you click for subscribers and you go to who you've subscribed to, and that looks 1,000 times different than your homepage, unless you're really super consistent. Some people might be consistent in the way that they click things, but most people don't subscribe to channels, right? Like it's something like somewhere between like 50 and 90% of all people do not subscribe to channels they actively watch. And so a lot of the stuff that gets recommended to you is people's videos that you're not subscribed to, but you do click on the type of content they like. Meanwhile, the stuff that you subscribe to never really comes up in your feed, right? And that's because the algorithm feeds you what you click on, not what you subscribe to.
Someone else is building resorts in other places of the world, in Gaza, in Qatar. They'll be building them in the Ukraine soon. Watch. And all the while, your life gets worse. You become angry. You lack the ability to live the life your parents did or their parents did. And all they have to say to you is how lucky you are. How lucky you are that you don't live in a place like China. Wow, how lucky you are that you don't live in a place like China, as they make America more like China every hour.
Actually, China is probably a better place to live. Yeah. So anyways, I just wanted to show you guys that. And, you know, for the most part, there's a lot of things that Tim Dillon says that I greatly disagree with. But I do think that but once again, critically thinking is being able to hold two ideas that in some way conflict with each other, but understand that both can be true. And I believe that you should be steadfast in your defense against Donald Trump and the people like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, whatever person that is currently controlling your life. I do believe that you should still steadfastly defend against those people and speak out against them. But at the same time, that you can watch somebody like Tim Dillon and know that you disagree with some of the things that he believes politically, and yet also at the same time tell yourself that some of the things that he is saying are true, because you both understand what is going on in this situation. So I do think that this is important. And like I said, I don't do it so much on stream because I have a limited amount of time, but in my personal life, I do watch content that disagrees with the things that I believe, so that way I understand, the content of my beliefs in the best and most versatile way. So let's watch, because we're finishing the show with the good videos. Let's finish the show the way we're supposed to, because I practice what I preach, guys. So we've got today. I was thinking about doing the Can't Laugh Challenge. Me and my kid did a Can't Laugh Challenge video, a couple of them. They're actually privated on this channel because they don't get shown to the right people. But we usually did, me and him did a couple Can't Laugh Challenge videos together. And so this is kind of like that. It's animal videos, guys. Are you guys ready for animal videos? This is how we're finishing it right here, guys. We're going to finish it with animal videos. Because it's good for you. That dog doesn't even look real.
Put the goat down! Drop the goat! Oh my gosh. What?
Somebody that owns goats. Somebody tell me. Do donkeys eat goats, bro?
What's wrong with you? Dude!
I thought that was the same donkey. Oh, hold on one more.
What's wrong with you? Dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That's a face only a mother can love right there, my friend. That right there. That right there is a face that only a mother can love. And this is, I can't do small dogs, guys. My wife owns a Chiweenie. If you don't know what a Chiweenie is, go ahead and take a look. People think they're cute. I don't see it. I don't see it. We got to stop with the dog breeds, man. Like, we went too far. We're crossing them over, doing stuff that we really shouldn't be. It's like some Frankenstein shit, and we really got to stop. We really got to stop. Oh, I've seen that one before. This is probably one of my favorite little dog videos. This one right here. This one right here is definitely one of my favorite dog videos. Like, how does that even happen? Like, this is before AI, guys. This is before AI, and also just look at the difference. Look, big dog, small dog, guys. Small dog, big dog, okay? Oh, it's one of those dogs, too, that can't keep its tongue inside of its mouth, huh? I don't see it. I don't understand. Like, how does that even happen? This is before AI, just so you guys know. Oh! Oh! Okay, I do like these dogs, though. This bulldog, right? I do like these dogs. There's my kind of dog. Oh, that's a pretty dog right there. That's a pretty dog.
Eso. Mira.
Not a bird person either. Not a bird person.
Pero muchacho.
Aww. I don't know why, but elephants are super cute. After I just talked about how I don't know how people like little dogs, I'm like, I like elephants. Elephants are kind of cute. Oh, all right. I so appreciate you, my dear. Thank you for all that you do. I am so happy I can listen to you and know that you have humor with all that is going on. This world is tough. Well, thank you for everything you do, Sky. Because like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. I mean, imagine what life would be like to go through a lot of this shit without the community. And I think that that's, you know, it's important to recognize that we are missing something. And so we are trying to make up for that something by finding community in the things that we do. And that's important because recognizing that there is a problem does not solve that problem. And we have to do something to solve that problem. So we're doing everything we can. And I hope that you guys find a little bit of solace and good times in being here on this channel. And I appreciate you guys for being here because you guys have also had a very positive impact on my life as well. So, Mountain Bike, you're afraid of birds too? The Birds? I think me and you are the only people old enough to remember that movie. Aw, I'm sorry, Mitchell. Aw. That's why having dogs is tough. It's always tough to have dogs because you know they're going to like die before you do. It's so sad. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the show. Thank you guys for being here. We covered all the stuff. I got so much editing to do. I don't even know who my Eagles play tomorrow. Who are my Eagles playing tomorrow? It's been a crazy week. I didn't tell you guys this, but everybody at my job has been out with COVID or with personal issues. It was an insane week. I don't even know who my Eagles play tomorrow. But whoever they play tomorrow, they are going to whoop their asses. That's what I'm going with. So, all right, guys. Next show, Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. And in between there'll be lots of videos that come out for the next week or so in the Angry Ginger Live Clips channel and this channel as well. So, all right, guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And I'll see you next time.